The WPIAL season in 2000. Once again, one game already in the books. Rochester winning it over Monaca by a score of 13-6 of the Battle of the Bridge, going to the Rams. The second game should be a pretty good one between Aliquippa and Waynesburg. Our Billy Osborne, who was on the sidelines for game number one, will be on the sidelines for game number two. Two undefeated teams.
Yeah, I heard you say it's the first time ever WPIAL history that two undefeated teams, two on-time teams get a chance to battle for the Class A championship, AA championship. So, I was talking to the coach before the game. Very, very quiet. Nobody wants to give much away. They're ready for the battle. I talked to, obviously, Coach Zemanek from Aliquippa, and he says, we've been here before. We're ready to play.
Okay, and of course our coverage continues with the third game later on this afternoon, the Class AAA championship game, which should be a good one as well, fielding a couple of teams that are no strangers to the playing surface at Three River Stadium.
That's true. Anytime we talk about coming to Three River Stadium, there's always some kind of chance when you come out here that you get caught up in everything. But those teams have been here before, and I think you're going to come out there and you see right from the start they're going to be hitting hard, ready to play.
High school kids obviously getting a chance to play at Three River Stadium, something that not all of us get to do. Of course, we're walking the sidelines and get to cover teams like Pitt and the Steelers. That's a thrill in itself, but to actually run on the turf, that's something extra special.
Oh, it's totally different when you come out here and you play. There's no, you can't experience it until you're actually here. You see it on TV, you get interviewed, you watch games, but to actually run through the tunnel and get a chance to play at Three River Stadium, it takes a while to get used to. I know you come out for pregame, you get very juiced up, and you go back in the locker room. But to come out here for the first time with the crowd behind you, it takes something to get used to. So these teams that have been here before definitely have an advantage.
Now, this is the last year that they'll be held here at Three River Stadium. Okay, we're all upset. It's very terrible. But next year you go to a brand new stadium and you get to play on what nature always wanted us to play on, grass.
That's a big change too, because a lot of these teams haven't really played that much on turf this year. Some of these coaches had to actually take their teams yesterday or the day before to actually practice on turf to get the kids used to it, because it is a different type of surface, a lot faster. Today it'll be a little slicker, but it is a change from your normal grass. Me personally, as a former wide receiver, I like playing on turf because it made me faster, and I needed that. But as a player, when you're actually a game, grass is the way to go.
And obviously, if it continues to rain, the hair will continue to look good. It was slick before the day started. It's still slick.
I doubt that. I may go to that hat because it's getting very cold out here. I heard those guys teasing me in the first game because I seeked shelter when it started to rain pretty hard, but we'll see if we can battle the weather in the second game here.
All right, well, we'll continue to talk about the second game between Aliquippa and Waynesburg. We're going to step away for a quick timeout. You're watching Fox Sports Net's coverage of the WPIAL Championships. We'll be back right after this.
Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net. Witness the return of the American Dream, David Reed. Pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world. Boxing fury from a ringside seat. David Reed, Carino Garcia. Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net.
Kasikali Emarisbeck Classic.
Ifikile le mini nkulu matlo bekade thetwa ngayo ko khangele iminyete la ba namkelekile manene namanene kazi ifikile mina bedilindele imine nkulu kakhulu namhlanje kuba khawuka ngoba
Surrounded by the game, they are invincible.
One of the greatest hockey players ever to play the game.
Surrounded by life, they are all too human.
He was ordered to stand trial.
don't crowd him.
I've concluded that he bet on baseball.
Do you have anything to say to your fans?
Introducing Beyond the Glory, a glimpse into the lives of sports' biggest celebrities.
Absolutely outstanding. Unbelievable.
Premieres January 7th on Fox Sports Net.
Want heart-pounding highlights? Then you gotta see this. It's death-defying, car-crashing, fist-flying action. Video that'll blow you away. Think you've seen it all? You gotta see this. Sunday at 6 on Fox Sports Net. It's NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net.
You should get up and hang out with us because we're going to have a little bit of fun.
It's Sunday morning chalk talk and trash talk.
I like the hair today, Chris Myers. You look a little like Bob's big boy.
Tomorrow at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium for Fox Sports Net's continuing coverage of the WPIAL Championships, brought to you by Verizon Wireless and McDonald's. Game number 2, the Class 2A Championship between the Aliquippa Quips and the Waynesburg Raiders. You know, perfection is hard to find in any sport. Sure, coaches and players always strive for it, but it's certainly hard to obtain. Well, the coaching staffs for Aliquippa and Waynesburg certainly don't have to ask for any more from their kids. Both of them run the table by going 12-0 this season, setting up the first ever perfect matchup in WPIAL championship history. Of course, the Raiders won the championship in 1996. The Quips are shooting for their 10th WPIAL title. Should certainly be a good game. Let's send it upstairs for the guys who will call the action, Rob Nicoleski and Sam LaFazzo. Gentlemen?
Thanks a lot, Dan. Rob Nicoleski along here with Sam LaFazzo. And Sam, we got one game down, 3 more to go in this double-A game between Aliquippa and Waynesburg. In many ways, some people think this might be the best game of the entire day.
I think it is going to be the best game because you got two similar kinds of teams. They have a great quarterback on both sides of the ball. Their defenses are very good. They like to run the football, so they're almost a mirror image of each other.
And one of the mirror images you're talking about are the quarterbacks. Lee Fritz is the quarterback for Waynesburg. He's had a terrific season. The statistics are a little bit sketchy in WPIAL play, but it looks like that Lee Fritz is one of the few players in WPIAL history to run for more than 1,000 yards and pass for more than 1,000 yards in the same season.
Yes, he probably is he's probably one of the very few that have done that. He's extremely poised. He has great skills. He knows how to throw the ball, but once again, he's a great leader also.
His running ability is very, very good. He has a per-carry average of 9.2 yards per carry. He's also a multi-sport athlete. He's a terrific baseball player as well. He plays a shortstop on the Waynesburg baseball team, and he's been recruited to play both baseball and football. Akron has talked to him about a football scholarship, and he's also gotten some interest from Penn State, and West Virginia has a baseball scholarship. So this guy really is a multi-sport athlete.
Yes, he is a great athlete, and it shows because of the interest that he's had in the football as a quarterback, in baseball as a center fielder.
Now on the other side of the ball, again we're talking about this mirror image analogy. The other side of the ball, Josh Lay, Bernard Josh Lay. Josh is his nickname for Aliquippa. What a terrific quarterback this guy is. And in many ways, Sam, he's like Fritz because he's both. He's a weapon both offensively and also running the ball.
Yes, he is also a fabulous 22 quarterback. He can throw the ball on the run. He has a great sense and knack, tremendous skill, and once again, he is a tremendous leader. So they're not losing anything on both sides of the ball with their quarterback position.
He's thrown for more than 1,200 yards. He's thrown 19 touchdown passes. He hasn't gained as many yards on the ground as Fritz has, but get this, his per-carry average, an astounding 10.1 yards. He's a very explosive guy. Fritz is maybe slightly more polished, but I think Lay is probably the more explosive of the two players.
He's more explosive, and he has more of the skills, the quickness and the speed, and he's a threat every time he has his hands on the ball, Rob.
And he's also been recruited by some big colleges. Pitt and Penn State have been talking to him about possibly getting a football scholarship, although they want to make him a defensive back, but that's another story. Let's talk about the other side of the ball a little bit. Monroe Weekly, he's the big man for Aliquippa along the defensive line. Actually, he's a linebacker.
He's a man amongst men. I mean, He just has the physical stature. He has the size. He has the feet, the instinct. I mean, he's just a natural-born linebacker.
And he's also a guy who's also being very highly recruited. He's been recruited by a number of programs, including Pitt, Miami, Michigan, and Notre Dame. Also handles kickoffs among those schools that are trying to get him for scholarships. He says he's got 3 big bins full of letters. Lots of people looking for Monroe Weekly.
Well, they are, and just talking to him on Tuesday night when he visited us at the station, he hasn't made up his mind where he's going to go yet. He's leaving his options open, and I think that within the next 2 or 3 weeks he'll make that decision.
Let's talk about the big man on the other side of the ball then. Again, talking about this mirror image thing, Lanford Simpson, the big running back for Waynesburg.
Well, he dominated this game last year. I mean, he's just a big, physical, powerful human being. He plays fullback on offense. He plays linebacker on defense. He took over this game last year. I don't know whether he's going to be able to do that this year, and I don't think that he's going to have to do that. The pressure is not going to be totally on him as it was last year.
Let's talk a little bit about how these two teams got here. They're both undefeated, both 12-0. They ran through the regular season, had absolutely no problems. Then in the playoffs, they had no problems as well. Waynesburg defeating North Catholic. Then Waynesburg over Centered. That game was just last week. And then as far as Aliquippa goes, they got by Steel Valley. then got by Shadyside Academy, and now then defeated Washington. Defeated Washington 43-28. One of the things that I think that's interesting about this game, Sam, is that neither team has really had very many close games.
No, they have not. And I think that's indicative of the type of football that they play. There wasn't anybody in either one of their conferences that could match up with them.
It'll be a very interesting matchup. Somebody's going to come away from this game with their first loss of the season and a WPIAL AA championship. For Sam LaFazzo, I'm Rob Nicoleski. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with the AA championship game right after this.
Great.
We love to see you smile.
At McDonald's, every order is made hot, fresh, right to order. So I'm not just making a burger.
I'm making your burger.
Each and every day, there's great food and great deals at McDonald's, like our world-famous double cheeseburger for only 99 cents, and our tasty McChicken sandwich, also just 99 cents.
We love to see you smile.
Double cheeseburger or McChicken sandwich, just 99 cents each.
Surrounded by the game, they are invincible.
One of the greatest hockey players ever to play the game.
Surrounded by life, they are all too human.
He was ordered to stand trial and
Don't crowd him.
I've concluded that he bet on baseball.
Do you have anything to say to your fans?
Introducing Beyond the Glory, a glimpse into the lives of sports' biggest celebrities.
Absolutely outstanding. Unbelievable.
Premieres January 7th on Fox Sports Net.
Verizon Wireless introduces Mobile Web. The wireless internet access you personalize on your computer, then use right over your phone. With a simple scroll and click, you can get just the information you want, the moment you want it. Mobile Web. Only from Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Sign up now and get the first 3 months access free with annual contract.
I'm from Whitehall and I did better at Don Allen.
The hot new Mazda Tribute is here. Half SUV, half sports sedan. Don Allen can get you one for as little as $17,520.
I did do better.
I did do better. You will do better at the big Don Allen Auto Complex. So, you want to join the Don Allen Used Car Super Center?
Yes, sir!
At the Don Allen Used Super Center, we check them better with a 100-point quality check. We back them better with a money-back guarantee. And we price them better. The big Don Allen Used Car Super Center.
Check it out!
The WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by McDonald's. We love to see you smile, and by Verizon Wireless. Join in. Billy Osborne's down on the field. Billy, how's the field conditions right now? It was raining in the Class A game. What's it like right now?
Well, thank goodness for me anyway. The field is a little damp, but the rain has stopped. It's still very, very cold out here. No wind really to report. Shouldn't have any problems with the ball or affect the ball either punting or throwing. But interestingly enough, Dan talked about it when he teased the opening here about both teams being 12-0, undefeated, the first time ever in the WPIAL. Also, interestingly enough, both teams have been ranked 1-2 the entire season, so this is a great battle. And you have a battle within a battle. Both quarterbacks, you have for Aliquippa, Josh Lay, a great quarterback, and then for Waynesburg, Lee Fritz. Both of those quarterbacks are big-time quarterbacks, both Fab 22 guys. One of those guys got to step up and play here today. Interestingly enough, both big-time quarterbacks, but they're projected DBs in college.
Yeah, that is interesting, Billy. Thanks a lot. And Sam LaFazzo's joining me here, and we're getting ready for the coin tossers. Mike Smianik, the head coach over at Aliquippa, looking to get Aliquippa's 10th WPIAL championship. Only one other team has more, Sam, and that's Newcastle.
Yeah, I think that, and when we were talking to Coach Bianic on Tuesday night, Rob, that's all he wanted to talk about. That Newcastle has 10, Newcastle has 11, Aliquippa has 10. They want to get to that next level. They want to get up there with Newcastle.
Well, of course, Aliquippa is one of the great programs in WPIAL history. Some great players come out of Aliquippa, like Mike Ditka, Sean Gilbert, Ty Law, who now plays for the New England Patriots, also Raphael Pudge Abercrombie. Waynesburg, on the other hand, hasn't really had much of a football tradition until the mid-'90s. In fact, I believe before 1996, the school's career playoff record was 0-19-1, but Dave Serra's team has quickly established a real reputation here in the Western Pennsylvania.
And I think what you're going to see is that this senior class was the beginning of that tradition for Waynesburg. Simpson and Fritz and this entire offensive line and defensive people are responsible for bringing the Waynesburg program to the next level. And once again, they've been here. They're the defending champions, so there's been a tremendous job in the last 4 years to upgrade that program.
Yeah, so I guess in many ways we're talking about it's a battle between two of the big guys, battle between two excellent coaches, battle of two excellent programs. You're talking about Waynesburg, how well they've done. They've won 24 straight games against WPIAL teams, and this team, this Waynesburg team, has been together since junior high school, Sam, and they have only lost 3 games. Their overall record, counting junior high, 35-3 going into this game.
That's remarkable, isn't it? That's a sign of a tremendous program, and they've built it from the ground up, and they've done it very slowly, and then once it came on, it just has never stopped.
Well, Waynesburg will be kicking off. We're about ready to get this game going. The AA championship is underway. There's the kick. Fielded around the 10-yard line. And Aliquippa will get the ball just shy of the 30-yard line. And that's where they'll start business as Josh Lay comes onto the field. Look at his numbers. Well over 50% completion, 16 touchdown passes and just 3 interceptions. And for a guy who's really not known primarily as a passer, that's a great ratio of touchdowns to interceptions.
It really is. It just they don't rely on him, but when they ask him to do it, he just steps right up there and takes charge.
Lay will be the quarterback. His running backs, Jarris Wilcox, a little guy, but don't be deceived. This guy has real strength. Number 2, he's their leading ground gainer, and he's the only man behind Lay, and Lay's going to throw on first down. Throws it outside, and that's complete to Quanier Gaskins. Wrapped up, pickup of about 6 yards out to the 35-yard line. Tackled by Brian Golden.
Well, Aliquippa come out with a one-back set. They're spreading the field and forcing Waynesburg to cover the entire field. He did a real nice technique, drop back, and hit his receiver right on the numbers.
There's a starting lineup for Aliquippa. If you say the name LaDon enough tonight or this afternoon, you won't be too far wrong because there's 4 LaDon brothers on this Aliquippa team. 2nd down and 4. And the handoff goes inside to Jarris Wilcox, and he's very close to a first down. I think he has it.
Definitely has enough for the first down. They're going to spot the ball right over the 40-yard line here.
Here's a look at the Waynesburg defense. Church, Eddie, Mears, and Gregg along the defensive line. Simpson, Golden, Emmerich, and Black are the linebackers. Fritz, McLaughlin, and Bland are the defensive backs. They play a 4-4-3 defense, Sam. Rather unusual, but they really like it.
They like to run their linebackers, their skill linebackers. They utilize their quickness and speed.
1st and 10. Lay hands off to Wilcox. It bounces off one defender and falls forward for a couple of yards.
And in the comparison of the 4 versus the 50, on the 4, it's almost a gap defense. You're trying to pressure those 4 down people to get in the backfield and to stop them from getting their shoulders squared.
That was Lanford Simpson in on the tackle. We're going to mention a lot of these same names again and again and again because a lot of these guys at the skill positions on offense also play on defense. A lot of these teams go with players who go both ways. It's 2nd and 8 for Aliquippa. The pitch out to Wilcox. Follows a blocker. That's a nice tackle by Brant Blair of Waynesburg, and that'll set up a 3rd down situation.
3rd and about 2. Very good play, very quick feet. Running lanes opened up for him. He turned up inside.
Correction, that was Matt Emmerich with the tackle, number 42 on that. Aliquippa got here by defeating Washington last week, and that was a really big win for this Aliquippa program. Washington had been sort of a monkey on their back, eliminating in 3 of the last 5 years in the playoffs, but they got past them. Now they've got a chance to play for the AA championship, their first since 1996. Way back to throw, he's going to go deep, lofts it up. It's bobbled and caught. That's Quanier Gaskins with the catch inside the 20-yard lines. And Sam, that's an example of what we were talking about earlier about how this Aliquippa team is very athletic and they're all also very explosive. Here's a look at the replay.
Yes, Josh just threw the ball up there, and the young man just made a fantastic hitting it at his high point, bringing it back down, and using his athletic skills.
It was deflected by his teammate Dwight Hines, and then Gaskins came down with a great catch, and Aliquippa inside the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 17. Lay rolls to his left. He's in trouble. Gets away from one man. He's still in trouble. Gets away from another. Throws across the field. And that's complete to number 40, Quentin Good. And there's another example of just how explosive and how quick these guys are.
Well, when you talk about the college people projecting him as a D-back, I don't know how you can do that because that was perfect. I mean, the skill that he has with his feet and his arm and his intelligence.
And
just
also
watch the scramble here.
And also just his coolness under pressure. There he almost gets tackled. He doesn't lose his composure. Gets away from Cody Black and fires a strike to Quentin Good.
And his eyes are always looking downfield. He's looking to see what's happening. Great view.
And that's a major league play, and it's 2nd and short for the Quips. Ball goes inside to Wilcox, and he's stacked up. Nice tackle there by Kelby Church.
Well, that defensive front, those 4 down people are going to have to put some great charge on the ball and establish the line of scrimmage.
We were talking to Dave Serra. He's in his first year as head coach. Was a defensive coordinator at Waynesburg for the last 5 years. Took over for Russ Moore and coached Waynesburg to the first AA title ever in that school's history last year. Serra's been at Waynesburg 9 years total, so he's very familiar with his defense because he's the man who designed it. 3rd and short. Full house backfield, and Lay goes right up the middle, and he gets the first down.
And if we have a chance to see that again, you'll see that the defensive tackles, which are covering the guards, just left a tremendous opening there. And I don't know whether that was a call from the coaching staff, but he just saw it and he just made the 2 or 3 yards that he needed for the first down.
Well, that's a good point because they did have the full house backfield, but Lay never hesitated. And right up the middle, when you got that kind of surge, that gives you a 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. And Mike Smianik's team on the verge of taking an early lead here in the first quarter. If you just joined us, there's no score. There's 7:13 left to play. Lay once again goes back up the middle, calls his own number. He's down to the 1-yard line.
And once again, Rob, what happened was they moved the tackles to the inside shade of the guard, and Josh just went around the guards and right into the open seam.
Take a look at the replay, and you can see that Lay bobbled the snap and actually fumbled the ball. We didn't see that. Great recovery there by Jarris Wilcox.
We definitely didn't see that.
And we missed
that.
that.
Was crucial.
Big play there. So Aliquippa still knocking on the door.
Spread
2nd and goal. Lay pitches it inside to Good, we're waiting for the signal. He's just short. No signal yet from the officials. He might be right at the goal line, so it'll be a 3rd down coming up. Matt Emrich with the tackle.
You can see right here where he's just pitching the ball almost like a reverse option there. And it was a great play, and they got it right down to about the 2-inch line.
Well, that looked like he was in the end zone, but the officials called him down just shy of the goal line. And it's 3rd and goal. I don't think they'll do anything fancy here, and they don't. Lay goes right up the middle for the touchdown, and Josh Lay puts Aliquippa out in front, 6-0 with 5:38 to play in the first quarter.
That offensive line, which is their strength, because all of the entire offensive line of Aliquippa are seniors, except for the left guard, and that's Tony DiNardo.
A real combination of power and explosiveness on this opening drive for Aliquippa as they go 71 yards on 11 plays. There's Lay going in from the end zone. And we talked about the explosiveness. They got the big play to the wide receiver. Then they just pounded it in once they got inside the 20-yard line. And this is not unusual. Aliquippa is going to go for 2. This team doesn't have a great kicking game, so a lot of times Coach Smianik goes for 2, and they're going to go for 2 to start this ball game up 6-0. Lay in trouble. Gets away from one man, gets away from another, but not able to get away from all 3 Waynesburg Raiders, so Aliquippa's 2-point conversion fails. With 5:38 to go, Aliquippa scores on its first possession, and the Quips have a 6-0 lead on the Waynesburg Raiders.
Hi, my name is Joe Androstic, sales manager at Sandal Motors, Route 30 East in Greensburg. For years we've been telling you if you buy a Buick or Oldsmobile someplace else, you'll pay more money. Well, the same holds true as it has in the past. We sell Buicks and Oldsmobiles at the lowest bottom line prices you'll find anywhere. So there's no reason to wait for year-end clearance sales, factory promotions. Your best deal Excellent customer service can only be found right here at Sandell Motors. So remember, if you buy a Buick Rolls-Royce someplace else, you'll pay more money.
A quality education that's close to home. Over 40 majors in bachelor's and master's degrees for traditional and adult students. A caring faculty teaching in a Christian perspective. If that's what you're looking for, then you're looking for Geneva College. For over 150 years, Geneva has been providing higher learning with a higher purpose. To find out more about what a Geneva education can mean for you, call 724-846-5100 or visit their website at www.geneva.edu. Geneva College, bringing faith to life.
Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium for the WPIAL AA Football Championship. Aliquippa jumps out in front of Waynesburg 6-0. Rob Nicoleski along with Sam Lafazzo. And to talk about setting the tone, Sam, I'm sure Aliquippa did that in that opening drive, going 71 yards.
And they did it with a very well-balanced attack. They just didn't do it on the ground as Rochester and Monaca tried to do it. They opened up the ball. They used their quarterback. They used the passing game. They used the running game. So it's a very well-balanced attack for Rochester. For Aliquippa.
71 yards, 11 plays. The big play, the 35-yard pass from Lay to Gaskins. There's the opening kick, or at least the kickoff from Aliquippa. Craig Bland picks it up, and he's wrapped up very quickly, and that's where Waynesburg will start its initial offensive drive at around the 23-yard line.
And I think what happens here is that coming back from the defending championship from last year, Waynesburg offensive line is not as experienced as what the Aliquippa's line is, so it's going to be a very good test right here to see how the remaining part of this game is going to go.
Lee Fritz, one of the best athletes in all of Western Pennsylvania high school football, takes the snap from center. That's McLaughlin in motion. Fritz hands off, and that's Danny Hott, who gains a few yards off right tackle. Tackled by Dwight Hines.
And they did a really nice job. That offensive line came off the ball, and they picked up about 2-3 yards here, more 3 yards than 2 yards. So everything's going exactly what they're planning on doing. They're going to probably stick to their game plan of running the football.
There's the Waynesburg starting lineup: Barney, Greg, Church, Gooden, and Eddie along the offensive line for the Raiders. It's 2nd and 7. That's Hott in motion. And Fritz hands off to Lanford Simpson. That's the guy we're going to be calling his name a lot, especially if Waynesburg is able to move the ball pretty well. Here's the Aliquippa defense. They play an unusual defense as well. A 5-2-4. Foster, Ellerby, Haskins, LaDonna along the front line. And they're all supposed to funnel the play to these guys, Monroe, Weekly, and LaDonna. And here are the defensive backs, Good, Lay, Wilcox, and Hines. And Coach Smianik said that 5-2-4 defense is supposed to funnel the play to the linebackers and to the safety men. They're supposed to be the heroes and make the tackle.
Absolutely, and that's also where their speed is.
3rd and 7. Fritz back to throw. He's got plenty of time. Scrambles to his right. Look out. He gets nailed. That's a loose ball. It's picked up by Waynesburg.
Very, very lucky on that play that they didn't turn it over.
Derek Mears was the man who picked that ball up.
Secondary coverage for Aliquippa was tremendous. And they're trying to once again run those deep routes, and it just takes too much time.
Fritz was looking to his right. Here's the replay. I did not see the man coming to his left, and that was number 42, Carl McBride with the smack. But fortunately for Waynesburg, Derek Mears is right there, and Waynesburg will have to punt.
This is not the way that you wanted the first series to go. And it's not a very good punt here. Going to get excellent field position.
Well, it takes a nice bounce for Waynesburg, and then that's Quanier Gaskins who runs out near midfield, and that's where Aliquippa will start business. On their second possession of this game, we got 3:27 to play in the first quarter, and Aliquippa up in front 6-0 as Waynesburg not able to do anything. Dave Sarah's team snuffed in their first offensive attack.
This is going to be a very critical defensive series for Waynesburg, because in the first series they didn't stop Aliquippa in any facet of the game, and they're going to have to do it here.
What may have been more dispiriting for Waynesburg on the first drive wasn't necessarily the long pass, but the way that Aliquippa was able to blow them off the line once they got inside the 20-yard line. So Aliquippa starts in business from its own 47-yard line. The pitch out to Wilcox, and he gets stacked up around the 50-yard line by a host of Waynesburg Raiders led by Brian Golden and Matt Imrich.
Picked up about 3 yards, though. He's a real strong back. Gets his shoulder squared, good strong with his leg drive, good vision there also.
Mike Smianik said the key to today's game will be his team's ability to run the ball. Quote, if we can do that, everything can fall into place. That's what he told us the other night over at the Fox Sports Net studio, Sam. And so far, they've been able to run the ball fairly effectively.
Yes, and I think what happens is that when they run the ball, it sets up the pass. And what happens here is that Josh Lay had 1,070 yards in passing this year with 14 touchdowns.
The inside handoff there goes to Dwight Hines, and he's stacked up, and now it will be a third down situation for the Quips as Brian Golden's in on another tackle.
Well, I think what's happening now is Waynesburg realizes they're in for a fight. They have established a line of scrimmage in this series, and they're going to have to continue to do that.
So this looks like it'll be a passing situation, 3rd and about 7 for Aliquippa. And in these situations, even though it's 3rd and long, a 3rd and 7, Lay is such a dangerous guy, especially when he rolls out here, Sam. This is a situation where in some ways Aliquippa is not in that much of a hole.
You're absolutely right, and they're spreading the field.
Instead, they decide to hand the ball off to Wilcox. He gets away from one man and inside the 40-yard line before he's finally wrapped up by Lee Fritz, quarterback who also plays defensive back.
And Rob, if you notice the difference between the first game and this game, if you've been watching both of them on TV, is that Aliquippa definitely has more of a balanced attack. They don't rely on one passer.
In that first game, Rochester beat Monaca 13-6 to win the single A championship, and there's Wilcox. As I said, he's a little guy, but he's got surprising power for someone who's only 5'9". Aliquippa now 4 for 4 on third down situations as they convert. Now it's 1st and 10 from the 38 of Waynesburg. Lay goes deep again, lofts another one up, and that's caught, but it looks like that might be offensive pass interference there, Sam. Looks like Quanier Gaskins pushed off on Craig Bland.
You're exactly right, Rob. Right before the ball came down and pushed him off, set his feet and caught the ball. This is definitely going to be offensive pass interference.
Well, they've thrown 2 long passes down that left side, and both times, Sam, it's almost been like a jump ball situation. That's got to be by design. They're thinking that they can out-jump the defensive backs from Waynesburg.
Absolutely. They have the skill and the talent to out-jump them, and they're just putting the ball up in the air, and they're going after it.
Well, it's easy to out-jump somebody when you push them, and that's exactly what Quanier Gaskins did there. Although that wasn't that flagrant, but the official was right there, and he might have even been out of bounds when he caught it. His left foot may have been out of bounds.
15 yards from the preceding spot. The loss of down. 2nd down.
So that puts them way back to their own 47-yard line, and the official said loss of down, so that's that'll make it 2nd down and 25.
2nd down, 25.
Well, Waynesburg needs to stop here. Needs to stop Aliquippa, who's been able to jump out to an early lead on their first drive. And if Waynesburg can stop them here, they might be able to set the tone of this game in a little slightly different direction. Lay hands off to Wilcox. He gets beyond the 50-yard line and powers forward down to about the 48-yard line.
He picked up about 7 yards, though. They didn't try to get it all back at one time. It's going to be 3rd and about 7 or 8. And they're just trying to maintain the offense. They're ahead. They don't have to take any chances. They just want to be as consistent as they can, picking up 5, 6, 7 yards at a time.
There's a quick look there at Josh Lay. He's wearing number 9. It's kind of an interesting story. In home games, he wears number 12, but he lost his road jersey. So on the road, he wears number 8 or number 9. Today, he's wearing number 9. And it's 3rd and 20 for the Quips.
Rob, it doesn't matter what number he wears.
Lay back, and he's in all kinds of trouble. But Mears is there, just about has him wrapped up, and he still gets away, is able to throw the ball, and that's complete. Over to number 81, Jonathan Lagon, but there's a flag down, and
I think there's too many linemen downfield. He just took too much time wiggle-raggling back there and using his athletic skills, and I think one of the linemen went downfield.
Well, we'll see what the flag is, and it's holding. Yeah, anytime you see a flag on a play like that, it normally is holding because the offensive linemen are just trying desperately to keep the defensive players away from their quarterback.
He went down almost 3 times. There's a good point right there. He refused to go down.
And that gives you an example of just how elusive this guy is. Derek Mears had 2 hands on him, still was able to get away from him, and still was able to complete the pass.
Third down.
Well, athletic skills or not, they're going in the wrong direction here. I think it's third and a mile.
Third and I think it's 31 to be precise. They've had an offensive pass interference call against them. And Mike Spanik has also seen his team called for holding, so it's third and long. And more importantly, if Waynesburg can hold them here with an incompletion, they'll be able to get decent field position. And again, that's something that might be able to change the tone of this game so far, which in the very early going, with 26 seconds to go in the first quarter, has been all Aliquippa.
You're exactly right, Rob. It could change the field position.
And they decide to run the ball instead. Jarris Wilcox, that's maybe a gain of 1.
And you can see the competitive edge that Waynesburg is bringing to the table in this series here.
Kelby Church there with the stop as the clock winds down. The final seconds of the first quarter as Aliquippa scored on its first possession, missed on the 2-point conversion. They're not going to have enough time to get the punt off. We're going to take a break as Aliquippa has gotten off to an early 6-0 lead on the Waynesburg Raiders. You're watching the WPIAL Championships, a quadruple header today here on Fox Sports Net.
Mom, Dad, hey, it's me, Steve. This year, to avoid any confusion, I'm putting my wish list on video. All I want is a computer. Now hold on, Dad. It's just $849 for all this. A Dell computer, speakers, monitor, 1-year AOL membership, an Intel Pentium 3 processor, which is awesome. I even cleared space for it. And Dell will throw in a free DVD upgrade. And Dad, I know how much you'll love free stuff. Mom, Dell's won more awards for service and support than any other computer company. And you don't even have to leave the house. All you have to do is call or go online. Anywho, happy holidays, your son, Steven.
Get what you want this holiday. A great computer with an Intel Pentium 3 processor and a free gift. All for $849. Call or go to DellForMe.com now.
Pride. It's about dedication and commitment and believing in what you do. At Summit Academy, we believe in our mission of shaping bright young students into successful young men, and we are currently looking for qualified individuals who share our dedication and commitment. If you're interested in a rewarding career you can take pride in, contact the Human Resource Department at 412-885-5200. Summit Academy, where pride still matters.
SportsBeat has the Steelers covered.
Oh, goodness!
Monday, a complete recap of the game. And Tuesday, we break down Bill Cowher's press conference. SportsBeat, weeknights on Fox Sports Net, presented by Verizon.
Hey, Keith, as a respected sports journalist, what advice can you give on helping me score with the ladies?
Keep hanging out at ballparks and racetracks and you'll be fine.
The Keith Olbermann Evening News, Sundays at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
Well, thank you. You know, you talk about high school tradition. Aliquippa has a ton of it. They're going for the 11th WPIAL championship. And one of their most famous alumni, of course, we all know Mike Ditka. And I talk about tradition. In the field house that they have here in Aliquippa, they have an Indian head. They used to have an Indian head. Now it's an A. And one of the tradition is you are not allowed to step on that A. And many years go by, and there's always a captain. This year, if you get caught stepping on the A, you have to answer to Moo Moo, Monroe Weekly.
You don't want to answer to that guy. Thanks a lot, Billy. Lee Fritz takes the punt down around the 42-yard line. Billy Osborne's got a couple of reasons to be happy. First of all, it stopped raining, and secondly, his Pitt Panthers got a big win yesterday against West Virginia. Let's take a look at the first quarter statistics in this one. Aliquippa, as you might guess, because they had the ball more than almost 4 times more than Waynesburg did as far as time of possession go, dominating things. 38 yards rushing, 54 yards passing for 92 total yards. And look at that, Sam. 1 total yard in offense for Waynesburg.
They only ran the ball 3 times, or rushed the ball 3 times.
Well, here's Fritz under center. He hands it off to Hott, and once again, nowhere to go. That's a nice tackle there by number 40, Quentin Good.
Well, Rob, I think what's going to happen is that Waynesburg's going to have to limit the amount of offensive opportunities that Aliquippa has. So once again, that old phraseology of your offense being your best defense. If they can keep Aliquippa's offense off the ground, they have a chance. If they're going to go 3 and out every time and give Aliquippa the ball,
it's not even going to be close.
Well, this Waynesburg team averaged 270 yards per game on the ground, and so far they are going nowhere fast. It's 2nd down and 10. Fritz hands it off to hangs on to the ball, faked it to Simpson, and I guess he faked out a couple of Aliquippa players too because he had a nice gain out of it. He picked up about 5 or 6, tackled by Joe's Wilcox. He's up near the 50-yard line.
Well, Lee had 121 attempts for 1,119 yards rushing and 17 TDs during the course of the season, so he knows what he's doing as far as running the football.
Last season, he threw for more than 1,000 yards and ran for 800, and one of his goals this year was to go for 1,000, both running and passing. He was able to do that, and as we said at the top of the broadcast, he's one of the few WPIAL players to ever do that, run and pass for more than 1,000 yards. Big 3rd down play here for the Raiders. Haught goes in motion. Fritz rolls, he's under pressure, dumps it off, and that's complete.
32.
That's Derek Mears. You get the first down. And that's the first down that Waynesburg's been able to rack up. Glenn Haskins with the tackle.
Very nice, well-conceived play. He came out of the backfield. Notice him coming out of the backfield here, and he just lobs the ball right over his head.
Derek Mears with the tackle, or with the catch, and he breaks a couple of tackles and gets the first down. Excuse me there, Sam. First down for the Raiders as they're now inside Aliquippa territory for the first time today. 45-yard line with 10:20 to go. Whips out in front 6-0 in the AA championship. Ball goes inside of the big fella, Lancer Simpson. He gets about 3 yards. Well, they're making a little bit of a dent as far as their running game goes, Sam.
And I'm sure this is indicative of what they've done all year. You know, they're only looking in their ground game to pick up 3-4 yards at a time and then open that up by using the passing attack and Fritz's ability to run the football.
We talked to Coach Sarah before the game about this Waynesburg team, and we mentioned how they've only lost 3 games, at least the nucleus of this team has only lost 3 games since junior high school. Says his team is a real quiet bunch, not a rah-rah team, and that might be because they've been so successful since junior high. They take a real business-like approach to things. They expect to win.
And he was really proud of the fact that that's their kind of demeanor.
And we got a flag down here on the 2nd and 7 play, so they'll stop things, try to figure out what happened here.
And when you're experienced and have that kind of attitude and you go into the game, they say that you can only play a game for about 5 minutes on emotion, and then it comes down to execution and talent and not making mistakes.
On the offense, repeat 2nd down.
You're talking about execution, and this is similar to the single-A game we saw where Monaca could not afford to have penalties because they didn't have a terribly good passing attack against this very talented Aliquippa team. I don't think Waynesburg can afford a whole lot of penalties, even if they're the 5-yard variety. There's a little confusion there in the Waynesburg offensive huddle, so Lee Fritz takes a timeout. That's the first timeout we've had in this first half, 9:24 to play. And we've got 2nd and about 11 or 12. We're going to take a quick break. We'll take you back to Three River Stadium in just a moment, right after these messages. Quips lead the Raiders 6-0 in the AA championship. We'll be right back.
I started selling cars when I was 21 years old, and I learned at an early age that every customer is a valued customer. That's how I run my business. At John Howard's, we never forget what it's like to buy a car. For most people, it's a big decision. We don't hesitate to go the extra mile for the customer. We're not happy unless you are. Are John Howard's customers satisfied? Just ask them. We're easy to find.
John Howard's, with 3 convenient locations to serve you.
The U.S. Department of Energy is predicting that this could be the most expensive winter for heating bills in 15 years. Hi, I'm Ron Orty from Traco. We understand how skyrocketing fuel costs can impact you, especially when you have old drafty windows in your home. That's why Traco has designed the Protection Plus window system, the window that protects you from the high cost of fuel bills. It's not too late to fight back. Call your local Traco dealer now and learn more about this exciting energy-saving offer.
Welcome back to Three River Stadium. Rob Mikuleski along with Sam LaFazzo as the Aliquippa Quips lead the Waynesburg Raiders 6-0. Almost midway through the second period, Waynesburg's got the ball. It's 2nd down and long for them as Lee Fritz takes it up to the line of scrimmage. Waynesburg trying to get a sustained drive for the first time this afternoon. Ball goes inside to Lanford Simpson, and this is what we're talking about, Sam. This guy's a Larry Zonka type, and he just took out a couple of quips on his way to a first down.
Rob, that was a great analogy right there. He did run like Larry Zonka. Got his shoulders parallel, and I think what happens is that with second and 9 or 10, Aliquippa's looking for the pass or something, draw or screen, and they just ran the fullback right up the middle and picked up those 9 yards.
Dave Serra's got to be happy to see that, and maybe his hope is that as the game wears down, that maybe they can wear down Aliquippa with that big Lanford Simpson who seems to run harder as the game goes on. Simpson's the only runner in the backfield here on first down. It's McLaughlin in motion, and they give the ball to the big fella again. No, once again I'm wrong, as Lee Fritz goes down the sideline, gets away from a couple of players. He's inside the 10-yard line. He's faking me out, and he's faking out the quick, Sam.
Well, I think he faked everybody in the stadium out. It looked like Simpson had the football, and he was going through untouched, and the next thing you know, he was scooting around the left side, and he has some great quickness.
Well, he's gotten me twice, so I'm going to be a little bit more hesitant in the future when I see that belly play to make sure who's got the ball. Sorry about that, folks, as it's first and goal for Waynesburg inside the 10-yard line.
This was a very well-executed play.
26-yard gain there by Lee Fritz.
And he didn't rush for almost 1,100 yards for nothing. I mean, this is something they've done all year, and he has more rushing attempts than Lanford Simpson does.
And there's Lanford Simpson running out of the full house backfield inside the 5 down to about the 3. Second and goal. Tackled by Jonathan Ladon, one of 4 Ladon brothers on this Aliquippa team. There's only 33 players on this Aliquippa team, and Coach Mike Smianik told us that here's an interesting little tidbit. Every player on this Aliquippa team has a mother and or a father from Aliquippa. So this is definitely a homegrown unit.
Absolutely homegrown. And once again, we talked about Monaca and Rochester. Aliquippa, they just nuke these kids. I mean, they just put them in the oven and bake them out for next year.
They don't rebuild, they reload. There's the inside handoff. Not much going there. We just saw that last graphic, 59 yards for Waynesburg rushing. Before this drive, they only had 1 yard rushing, so even I can do the math there. They've gained 58 yards on the ground on this drive.
Well, this is what they're going to have to do. We talked about their offense being their best defense. If Aliquippa's on defense, they can't score, and they're just consuming the time waiting to get it into the fourth quarter, and hopefully it ends up that they're going to be ahead.
Number 22, Craig Bland, comes in with the play from the sideline, gives it to Lee Fritz, and it's 3rd and goal, and this is a big play here, Sam.
Well, I look for Lee Fritz to be doing something here, either running an option or at least running with the option to throw.
Well, there you go. He rolls to his right. He's in some trouble. Lofts one up. Intended for Bland, but one of his own players deflected the ball. I think that was Derek Mears who may have deflected the ball, number 32.
It looked like there was a bad read as far as who's going to be in that area because they had 2 receivers there.
Exactly.
He threw the ball up, and they both thought that they were going for the ball, and they knocked it out of each other's hand.
That's exactly what happened. Mears and Bland both collide, and looked like it might have been a touchdown for Bland, who's one of the best receivers in Western Pennsylvania, regardless of classification, Sam. This guy's a great receiver, number 22.
You're absolutely right, and I thought he had it right in his hand, and the other kid come right by and knocked it out.
Well, let's get to the business at hand. It's 4th down. Forget the field goal. Waynesburg wants to go for the touchdown, but Fritz now turns around and calls another timeout.
We've seen this happen several times during the course of the day where they break the huddle, they get up to the line of scrimmage, and before the quarterback gets underneath the center, there's some kind of confusion, and they have to call a timeout. And these timeouts that they're wasting here are going to back up towards the end of the half and toward the end of the game. That was an uncalled for timeout.
Let's go back down to Billy Osborne down on the field. Billy, what's up?
WPIAL souvenir programs, final championships here at Three Rivers Stadium are games A and B, $3.
Sorry about that. So now it's 4th down. It looks like they're going to go for it, Sam. And in some ways, though, that's not much of a surprise because, again, we've been talking about the mirror images of these 2 teams. Dave Serra's team is not a very good special teams team as far as field goals, just like Aliquippa. Aliquippa went for 2 after they scored their touchdown, and Waynesburg's been rather iffy as far as the field goals go, so I guess it's not that much of a surprise, but as soon as I say that, Here comes Waynesburg up to the line of scrimmage. It looks like they are going to try a field goal.
With 4th and 3 or 3.5, what they're looking for now is just to get on the board, get some confidence. They know they can run the football. They know they can execute their offense, and they just want to get some points on the board.
And Lanford Simpson punches it through, and Waynesburg's on the board. So after Aliquippa scores in its first possession, in the first possession of the second quarter, Waynesburg marches down and gets a field goal out of it, cut the lead in half to 6-3 with 6:48. Now, Billy Osborne, let's go down to you down the field, buddy.
And down here, you talk about Waynesburg Central, and you talk about Lanford Simpson, the fullback. He only needed 47 yards coming in today's ball game to reach 4,000 rushing yards in his career. Well, he's got 33 so far, and he's doing it on the ground, and as you saw right there, he just did it on his feet, too, by kicking the field goal to give Waynesburg Central on the board with 3 points.
Thank you very much, Billy. So just 14 more yards for Lanford Simpson to reach the 4,000-yard mark. Scoring drive, 10 plays, 55 yards, 5:04 time of possession as Aliquippa looks a little bit vulnerable on that last drive, which I think psychologically was very important for Waynesburg Central.
I absolutely agree with you, Rob. Psychologically, the 58 yards that they moved the football, Waynesburg knows that they can do that. They can also get their quarterback in the groove as far as running the football is concerned. They put points on the board, so everything that happened in that drive was very positive.
And Waynesburg will be kicking off. Danny Haught will be doing that chore.
And it's very critical that they get a very good kickoff. They don't want to give Aliquippa the ball around the 35, 40-yard line. And that's exactly what they're going to end up doing here if they field it.
Little squibber, and that's picked up. Eventually it's picked up by Quanier Gaskins. He's running east to west rather than north and south, and gets pushed out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Very poor in fielding the ball. They let it bounce on the ground, and if you're back there on special teams and you're receiving a kickoff or a punt, the worst thing that could happen to you is to let the ball hit the ground. It hit the ground, wait for it, the highest point after the second or third bounce, pick it up and get as many yards as you can.
Neither team has a particularly strong kicking game, and you'll see lots of squib kicks on this day. Aliquippa out in front 6-3 with 6:40 to go. If you just joined us for our quadruple header here on Fox Sports Net, in the single A game, Rochester defeated Monaca 13-6. We've got the double A game, then we've got the triple A with Stan Savrin and Danya Nessa, then the quad A game with Guy Junker and Danya Nessa as well. Lay goes deep, and he's got a man. That's Ladon, who's wide open, a couple of feet ahead of the rest of the defenders, and he's down near to the 30-yard line.
I'll tell you what, that was a really nice executed play by Josh Lay. He put the ball up in the air about 35, 40 yards, dropped it right on top of his numbers.
A 55-yard pickup.
Great ball fake there.
And Craig Bland, a good 4 or 5 steps behind Ladon. We can't really tell if that was a blown coverage. Bland, the cornerback, and Lee Fritz, the quarterback, who also plays free safety for Waynesburg, finally was able to wrestle Ladon down near the 30-yard line after a 55-yard gain, and the Cooks are right back in business on the 31-yard line, 1st and 10.
Change field position in one swell swoop there.
Well, we talk about how explosive this team is, and they are, and back goes Lay again. He throws one off his back foot, and that's going to be picked off. A very bad pass there by Lay. He didn't really plant his feet, Sam, and he just threw it up, and now we've seen 3 jump balls. It worked once. There was an offensive pass interference the second time, and now an interception.
Yeah, and I don't quite understand the philosophy behind that. I mean, you got good field position, and even though the pass worked there to bring him down here, why you have to go back and put him in the position where he's going to throw the ball up for grabs. Very poor decision on Josh's part there also.
That was Lee Fritz, the quarterback and free safety, with the interception. We told you he does a little bit of everything, and he does. He returns kicks, he returns punts, he also does a little punting, and he plays quarterback, and he's behind the center on 1st down for Waynesburg as they get a big turnover, and that's the big fellow, Lanford Simpson, rolling over across the 11, across the 10-yard line to the 11.
Well, the other way to look at it, trying to be as positive as you can, that's almost as good as a punt, having an interception going back and starting on the 4-yard line.
But so, somehow, I don't know if Mike was looking for a punt after he had only left 31-yard line.
You're exactly right. I'm just trying to be as positive as I possibly can.
That's what we like about you, Sam. You're a glass half full guy, and that's what we like. 2nd down and 5 after Simpson rolls forward for 5 yards. Dave Sarah's team trying to get a long drive moving against the Quips.
They got really good initial surge off the ball, that offensive line.
That's Danny Haught, wrestled down after a couple of yards from Drew Ellerby. So it'll be 3rd down and short. And this will be a big play because if Aliquippa can hold Waynesburg here, they should be able to get good field position with 5:13 to play in the second quarter. 3rd and 2. In comes McLaughlin bringing in the play.
And every time you get into a situation where it's 3rd and short, having Lee Fritz being the runner and the thrower that he is gives you tremendous amount of options of what to do here.
And it looks like they might run the option here. No, instead they go inside to Simpson, who plows forward up to the 20-yard line. He rumbles for a 1st down, and Waynesburg gets the 1st down, taking advantage of that interception by Fritz, and Carl McBride wraps him up at around the 20-yard line.
Well, Rob, he gained 4,000 yards in his career. They were all like that. It's not like the other kids gaining their yardage. I mean, they're breaking through the hole and cutting back and getting 55, 60 yards. He's a whole different kind of a runner.
He's one of these guys that instead of looking to avoid tacklers, he looks for them and runs right over them most times. 1st down for the Raiders. Fritz on the option, cuts back inside, and gets another 1st down beyond the 30-yard line.
Well, not only does he make good decisions, but he has excellent quickness, and his feet are just great. And once he turns his feet up, I mean, he just takes 2 steps, and he's 8, 9, 10 yards down the field.
Took Dwight Hines to wrap him up. This is a good angle. You'll be able to see how quick not only Fritz is, but how quick his decision-making is. There he cuts back, gets by LaDon, gets by another tackler, and rumbles forward for a 1st down.
Well, they have the offense or the option defense, but they just overran it. You got to play with your outside shoulder in the inside shoulder of the quarterback. They totally overran that time.
Mike Smianek not happy on the sidelines as he's seen Waynesburg start from their own 11 and get a couple of quick 1st downs. Blitz coming, Fritz unloads it. He's got Greg Bland caught at the 35-yard line after a misplay by the defensive back, and finally Bland is tripped up inside the 10-yard line.
That was a tremendously athletic play there. He waited, he was beat, he had beaten the defensive secondary, the ball hung up a little bit, defensive player went up at the high point, misjudged it, and it was a tremendous athletic ability for him to catch the football.
Fritz just got nailed by LaDon, but he gets the pass off, Bland makes the catch and scampers 60 yards inside the 10-yard line, and now Waynesburg has a chance to take the lead. 8 yards away from a touchdown. It's 1st and goal.
And the other thing that happened there is, I don't know who number 9 is, but he saved the touchdown by being very alert.
Fritz tackled around the 10-yard line.
Oh, okay, you're not on the list. You talked about that earlier. Bernard showing his athletic ability right there.
A 60-yard pickup, and people are still buzzing about it here at Three River Stadium. And suddenly, after a 1st quarter dominated by Aliquippa, now Waynesburg has come back with its own explosive play, a 60-yarder from Fritz to Bland. Bland is his favorite receiver, and he showed it right there. He makes a terrific play, and Dave Sarah's team now faces 2nd and goal from back on the 10-yard line.
Well, they don't want to come away with just 3 points here, Rob. They want a touchdown in this situation. They want to get out in front, and they put Aliquippa in a position to play catch-up.
Fritz going to the outside. He tries to cut back, but there's not much to go because there's Big Monroe Weekly who grabs him by the jersey and brings him down after a gain of just 1. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 9.
And that's not an option. That's just strictly a belly fake and trying to hold the linebackers with Simpson, and then he's just running the ball on a keeper.
We haven't called Monroe Weekly's number very much today, but here he makes a big play when it really counts inside the 10-yard line. And now it's 3rd and goal for Waynesburg. Look for Craig Bland. Look at the top of your screen. He's Fritz's favorite receiver. At the bottom of your screen is McLaughlin. Fritz back, looking to his right, completes it. The ball's bobbled, and it's now being called an incomplete pass.
Never had possession.
If it had been ruled a completed ball, McLaughlin was there to fall on it for Waynesburg, but now it's a moot point anyway.
But they're going to
be 4th down. Here's the play as Mears gets popped, and there's McLaughlin there to fall on the ball. Jarris Wilcox was there defensively.
Hit him right on the numbers.
A big hit there by Wilcox. Well, it'll be a 27-yard field goal attempt for Simpson. There's the snap. The kick is up.
It's good.
And he boots it through, and now we got ourselves a tie ball game at 6-6 with 1:51 to play in the first half.
Starting all over again.
Yep. Back to square one. Aliquippa scored on its first possession. And Waynesburg has come back and kicked a couple of field goals. Tied this ball game up at 6. 9 plays, 85 yards in that scoring drive. They started from their own 11-yard line after that interception by Fritz. Went 85 yards, shoot up 4:28 at the clock, and we've got ourselves a tie ball game.
Well, that's really great for Waynesburg to get back in the game and tie the score. But initially, I think being down inside the 10-yard line twice and not coming away with a touchdown, later on in the game, I think that's going to impact the game somehow.
Mike Smianik's team jumped out in front 6-0, now in a tie ball game at 6. Smianik was talking to us the other day over the Fox Sports Net studios, and I was rather surprised. He's 57 years old. He said originally he wanted to coach for about 3 more years, but he indicated to us this might be the last go-around, if not this season, maybe next.
Yeah, he said that he's in a position now where when it stops becoming fun and the pressure gets on to him, as far as not the pressure of winning and losing or anything like that, but he's also the basketball coach, he's the football coach, he's the athletic director, he's teaching. How many years of that kind of a pressure-packed schedule can you endure?
Another squib kick. It's fielded around the 15-yard line. It's still being bobbled around a little bit.
Well, we keep talking about not having a kicking game, but this kicking game is kind of working out for them because they can't handle it.
It's crude but effective. It's been working very well for both teams, these squib kicks. Maybe the field is still wet. It rained through most of the first game, the single-A game. We haven't had any rain so far in the double-A game, but these guys are really having trouble picking the ball up. There's Good having all kinds of problems, and finally Gaskins picks it up, but number 30 for Waynesburg, Eric Conklin's right there to wrap him up, so the Quips will start from their own 17-yard line.
They're going to open up the field. They're going to stretch the field here again. They're coming out with 2 backs. 2 backs in the backfield, slot and a split end.
And looks, yeah, that's Gaskins in at quarterback, not Lay there, Sam. Juanier Gaskins in at quarterback where I'm not sure exactly where Lay is.
Well, obviously on that
there he is on the sidelines. He's back around the bench working on his wrist.
He might have got hurt on that intercept or on the long pass that Waynesburg scored down here received the ball, and he made the tackle. He might have got hurt on that play.
Looks like he's moving his right wrist around. That's his throwing wrist. He hurt his knee last week, but he's pretty much back at 100%, or at least seems so today. But he is out, and Gaskins is back in. If that's something that's going to last for an extended period of time, that's a real blow for Aliquippa.
It could put a whole different light on this game as far as the offense is concerned. Aliquippa, with the change in snap counts, has just went off or started in motion, and they're going to be penalized here. So this is not going the way Aliquippa wanted it to go.
Ball starts, white team, 2nd down.
So instead of 2nd and 4, it'll be 2nd and 9, and there's Lay being worked on. Aliquippa's racked up 3 penalties so far. Waynesburg just 1. But the real story is right there on the Aliquippa sidelines as we see Josh Lay getting worked on. We wonder when he might be able to get back into this game. Gaskin's a very talented guy. He's got a lot of speed, but anytime you lose someone who's as multi-talented as Josh Lay, it's got to be a big blow.
It absolutely is.
It makes you wonder if Smianik might be a little bit more reluctant to throw. in these situations. Now that he's got a second string quarterback in there, and I think Jarris Wilcox was moving in the backfield. There was some more confusion there, Sam.
I think it's the cadence is different, and they're not used to that, and the anxiety of everything that's happening here is pushing them back 2 plays in a row.
False start on the offense. Still second down.
2 procedure calls in a row. Send it back to make it 2nd and 14. There's 31. Now the other thing we got to keep in mind here, Sam, is there's 31 seconds left to go in the first half. It's 2nd down. If you're Aliquippa, you might just want to run it up the middle and try to get out of here with a 6-6 tie now that your quarterback is out. And if you're Waynesburg, if that's the case, do you call timeout and try to force them to punt?
I would definitely try to do that if I was Waynesburg. But Aliquippa, they just want to get this half over, get in there, get laid back, and see what they can do the second half.
Waynesburg's only got 1 timeout left, and that's exactly what Aliquippa does as Gaskins runs forward up to around the 20-yard line.
Runs into Matt Emmerich at the 21-yard line.
And sure enough, I think Waynesburg is calling a timeout.
Pick up a 7 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Well, even the fact that they don't run anything, they want to force them to punt. Anything can happen on the punt. You could have a bad snap. They could miss the ball. We've saw that over this weekend. Those kind of things happen, and that would be a perfect situation.
Well, they didn't call timeout, and that's the end of the first half as Josh Lay gets his wrist wrapped up. And through 24 minutes of football, it's a 6-6 tie. Aliquippa jumped out in front. Josh Lay scored on a 1-yard run. They went for 2, but didn't make it. They made it 6-0, and Waynesburg has since come back. Got a couple of field goals from Simpson to tie this game at 6, and let's go back down to the field with Billy Osborne. Billy.
Coach, it's all tied up at 6. The first half go as planned?
Heck no, it didn't go as planned. We've made some big plays, and then we've given the ball right back. You know, I think that we should be doing better than we're doing. Of course, we held them down there twice. Those are moral victories, make them kick field goals.
Defense played well, but your quarterback now, Josh Lay, what's the condition with him with his injury?
We're going to find out from the doctor right now. We'll have to see where we are with that.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. We'll find out about Josh Lay at halftime.
Thanks a lot there, Billy. So a 6-6 tie as we are at halftime between the Aliquippa Quips and the Waynesburg Raiders. We're going to take a break. We'll be back at Three River Stadium after these messages. We got ourselves a tie ball game for 1 half of play in the AA Championship.
The New York Times says NFL This Morning is a 2-hour calamity. They say hope for continued sanity at NFL This Morning has ended, and that the cast would belch their way through their college fight songs if given the green light. Sounds good to me. We may not have the same taste as the New York Times, but we sure know how to have fun.
You don't have the remote, baby! NFL This Morning!
NFL This Morning, tomorrow on Fox Sports Net.
When you see tire prices that are too good to be true, they probably are. Don't be victimized by our competition. Make sure their price includes everything. When you see our advertised price, remember, it's the entire price. No hidden charges. You get our lowest price every day, guaranteed.
So, you want to join the Don Allen Used Car Super Center?
Yes, sir!
At the Don Allen Used Super Center, we check them better with a 100-point quality check. We back them better with a money-back guarantee. And we price them better. The big Don Allen Used Car Super Center.
Check it out!
You got to concern yourself with where you're going. I'm not looking to please individuals. I'm looking to win football games. You take football out of Pittsburgh and something wouldn't seem right.
Get it straight from the coach. The Bill Cowher press conference live Tuesdays at noon on Fox Sports Net.
Hey, Keith, you're gonna show bloopers? 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 You guys show bloopers?
No.
The Keith Olbermann Evening News, Sundays at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
Waynesburg.
The WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Join in. And by McDonald's. We'd love to see you smile. Let's go down to the field and hear from our buddy Dan Potash. Daniel.
Hey guys, how you doing? I know it's a lot warmer up there, and once you know it, The first game it was raining, and now the wind is kicked up. Could play a factor. Of course, the first game that we're talking about, the Class Single A Championship, Rochester victorious over Monaca by a score of 13-6. This game between Waynesburg and Aliquippa staged to be, or said to be, the best game of the day, and right now being 6-6, I guess so far we're in for a pretty good game. Let's take a quick time out, though, and listen to the band out on the field. This is the Aliquippa Marching Quips. The Marching Quips of Aliquippa High School giving us some tunes at halftime. They sounded good, but the question is, will Josh Lay be good to go in the second half for Aliquippa? A big question if they're going to have a chance to win this game. Right now we're tied up at 6 apiece. We'll be back with more halftime festivities as Fox Sports Net's coverage of the WPIAL Championships continue from Three Rivers right after this.
Simple and accessible plans for everybody. That's Verizon Wireless. And right now, there's never been a better time to join in, because people coast to coast are discovering single rate. On plans as low as $35 a month, get 150 minutes with no long distance or roaming charges. Then get connected with an AudioVox 9000 phone. Hurry into a Verizon Wireless location near you or call 1-888-466-4646. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
We'd love to see you smile.
At McDonald's, we try to make every trip special. So we came up with a better drive-thru system. It helps us get the order right and helps you get it fast.
McDonald's has great deals every day. Like our world-famous double cheeseburger for only 99 cents. And our tasty McChicken sandwich, also just 99 cents.
We'd love to see you smile.
Double cheeseburger or McChicken sandwich, just 99 cents each.
Your business can look better and run much more smoothly than it does right now. How? Because there's a better way to buy office furniture. We've opened a state-of-the-art showroom called Workplace Furnishings by Mount Lebanon Office Equipment, featuring the absolute best values in office furniture from Hahn and other fine brands at our famous low discount prices. Come in, look around, and get some ideas. Our interior design professionals will be glad to do a 3D drawing of your office space. It's new, it's exciting, it's Workplace Furnishings by Mount Lebanon Office Equipment, Banksville Road.
Saturday for 9 hours only. And bring your Chevy up to $5,800 off. Buy any $98 a month for half a year. Every new Chevy car, truck, minivan, even sport utility price slap up to $5,800 off. Buy any new Chevy just $98 a month for the first 6 months. To avoid disruptions to other dealers, prices cannot be advertised, but every sell-off price posted. Saturday for 9 hours only at Century 3 Chevrolet.
Century 3 Chevrolet, Lebanon Church Road, Pittsburgh.
Minutes from the mall.
Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium, where the Class AA Championship is at halftime with Aliquippa and Waynesburg tied up at 6 apiece. Of course, if you missed the first game of our telecast, the Class Single A final had Rochester taking care of Monaca by a score of 13-6. Of course, this Class AA game was staged as being the best game of the day with a couple of good quarterbacks in Josh Lay and Lee Fritz. Of course, they've done it all season long during the regular season. Reason why both teams have a perfect 12-0 record coming into this game. Josh Lay had a lot to say about Aliquippa's first scoring drive. It was a 71-yard drive, and he capped it off with a 1-yard touchdown run. But much into the second part of the second quarter, he was injured and hurt his wrist on his throwing hand. Billy Osborne was trying to find out what was going on with him, and obviously you would have to think that the Quips were very concerned about that at halftime. If you can't have his services on the field, the Quips, well, they never had to deal with that all year long, so that could be in question to see how the Quips will actually be able to score on offense. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first half highlights in this one. We'll pick it up with the Quips opening up on their first drive, their very first possession. As I said, a 11-play, 71-yard drive capped by the Josh Lay 1-yard touchdown run, and it's 6-0. 2-point conversion failed. Moving to the second quarter, one field goal by Lanford Simpson led to a second field goal, and that's where we stand, 6-6. Let's look at the halftime statistics. Waynesburg with just 1 yard rushing in that first quarter, but they improved on that in the second quarter. You can see that the first downs are even at 5 apiece. Waynesburg actually having a better statistical day on the ground in that second quarter, getting 84 yards. Total passing yards, well, Aliquippa with 109, but of course that's in question now, depending on what happens to Josh Lay in the third quarter. Total yards almost even, 161 to 151. Total plays, once again, pretty even as well with 21 and 20. Time of possession, also pretty close there, 12 minutes and 17 seconds, and Waynesburg just under 12 minutes, kind of similar to the game that we saw earlier between Monaca and Rochester, where they like to run the ball a lot. In fact, the first half was only about 51 minutes. This first half, around 51 to 55 minutes. Now let's take another timeout, if you will, give myself a break as we go to the field, listen to the Waynesburg band. Once again, that was the Marching Raiders of Waynesburg High School. I asked for a short break to let them play their tunes there, but I was hoping to warm up my hands. Didn't work. It's still cold here at Three River Stadium. Let's go ahead and go to break with the score tied at 6 to 6 between Aliquippa and Waynesburg. We'll be right back after this.
Pride. It's about dedication and commitment and believing in what you do. At Summit Academy, we believe in our mission of shaping bright young students into successful young men, and we are currently looking for qualified individuals who share our dedication and commitment. If you're interested in a rewarding career you can take pride in, contact the Human Resource Department at 412-885-5200. Summit Academy, where pride still matters.
Now Pittsburgh has a nightly sports report dedicated to hometown teams' home team highlights. It's 30 minutes of nightly sports news dedicated to your teams. The 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report, Pittsburgh edition, nightly at 11.
Want heart-pounding highlights? Then you gotta see this. It's death-defying, car-crashing, fist-flying action. Video that'll blow you away. Think you've seen it all? You gotta see this. Sunday at 6 on Fox Sports Net.
The U.S. Department of Energy is predicting that this could be the most expensive winter for heating bills in 15 years. Hi, I'm Ron Orty from Traco. We understand how skyrocketing fuel costs can impact you, especially when you have old drafty windows in your home. That's why Traco has designed the Protection Plus window system, the window that protects you from the high cost of fuel bills. It's not too late to fight back. Call your local Traco dealer now and learn more about this exciting energy-saving offer.
Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net. Witness the return of the American Dream, David Reed. Pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world. Boxing fury from a ringside seat. David Reed, Carino Garcia. Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back to Three River Stadium. Rob Nicoleski along with Sam LaFazzo. We got ourselves a tie ball game. We thought this would be a close game between the Aliquippa Quips and the Waynesburg Raiders, and that's exactly what's happened. Sam, so far it's been a tale of two quarters. First quarter belonged to Aliquippa, the second quarter belonged to Waynesburg.
Well, it's absolutely exactly what we thought it was going to be. I mean, you have two undefeated teams. You got two teams with two people on a fabulous 22 in high school football, and you have a tie score at halftime. I think that's indicative of what we expected.
It hasn't been the most cleanly played of ball games. A little sloppy play on both sides, but the big play so far in this game was in the second quarter when Waynesburg had a 60-yard completion to Craig Bland from Lee Fritz, and on that play, this is where we think maybe Josh Lay, number 9, got hurt. This was a couple plays after the 60-yard completion. Yeah, I think that was right there when Josh Lay, one of the best players in Western Pennsylvania, hurt his wrist trying to make a tackle there on Lee Fritz, and that's really the story of this game, is what can Aliquippa do if Josh Lay can't go, because he was getting his wrist bandaged right before the end of the half.
And I think it was really very good for them to run out the clock, go in at halftime, see what's happening with his hand and his wrist, and whether or not he can come back here and be effective in the second half. It would be a tremendous positive thing for Waynesburg if he did not come back out the second half, and a negative thing for Aliquippa if he can.
Okay, let's play the what-if game. Sam, you used to coach at Monaca for a long, long time. You won a WPIAL championship. If you're Mike Smianik and you don't have Josh Lay, what do you do in the second half?
Well, I think what happens is you go back to the basics, and it's not like he doesn't have a running attack. It's not like he doesn't have the athletes and skill kids to do this. He has a very proficient ground attack, and I would just go ahead in there and let my defense be the what I'm going to rely on, and just try to grind the ball out with the running attack.
If Lay does come back and his wrist is bandaged, do you go a little bit more conservatively on offense?
Well, just because he's coming back and he has it wrapped, I don't know whether that means that he's perfectly healthy. I mean, obviously, if it's wrapped, it's not perfectly healthy. That's going to dictate whether or not he can throw the ball, but he can still run the ball, so it gives him just a moral positive attitude if he's back there. The team is comfortable with him. He's the leader, and I think it would be beneficial if he's back there for him.
Okay, what if you're Dave Serra and the Waynesburg Raiders? After a rough first quarter, you're only down 6-0 at the end of one. The second quarter, they came back, were very dominant. They only had 1 yard rushing in the first quarter. They finished with 76, and they had 75 yards rushing just in the second quarter.
Well, I think what happens with Coach Sarah for Waynesburg is he got to come out and do exactly what we talked about before. They have so many skill kids, and you can see here Josh who's coming out with a wrap on his hand, and if that's any indication of what the wrap is, I don't know whether he's going to be able to play quarterback or not. But to go back to Dave Sarah, he's going to do the same thing that he did in the second half. I mean, his team came on offensively. They started utilizing the quarterback, Lee Fritz, more in not only the running game but also the passing attack, and the defenses are going to carry the game for the rest of the game.
So Mike Smianik and the Aliquippa Quips have a major decision to make. That is, can Josh Lay continue at quarterback with that heavy, soft cast that's been wrapped up around his right wrist? And if you do put him at quarterback, I don't know how you can throw with that, Sam. He can certainly run the option, perhaps, but I don't know how you can really throw the ball effectively.
Well, if they're going to play with what we just saw on the screen there a couple of seconds ago, I doubt very seriously, Rob, if he's going to be able to throw the ball with that on.
All right, so we've got 24 minutes more of football. Let's go down to Billy Osborne, who's got Dave Sarah of Waynesburg down on the sidelines. Billy.
All right, I'm down here with Coach Sarah. Coach, 6-6 ball game, very, very close. Probably what you expected. What did you tell your guys at halftime?
I mean, we got to come out and play football. We got to sustain drives. We got to do what we're doing defensively, not give up big plays.
You talked about it before the game about quiet confidence. You've won 25 of your last 26 games. In the second half, you're going to look to see some of your seniors. Who are you going to point out here in the second half that's got to step up big for you?
I'm not going to point out any individuals. I think we got to play as a team, and it's going to take a team effort to win the ball game.
On the ground, through the air, defense, what?
I mean, we got to do it in all phases. I mean, we defensively we've got to have good coverage, and we got to have our run stoppers up front. Offensively, it's going to probably take some of the run game for us to sustain drives, eat the clock, and move the football down the field.
All right, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks a lot there, Billy. There's Lee Fritz, the all-everything quarterback for Waynesburg, who was a trigger man on a 60-yard pass to Craig Bland. We knew that eventually he and Bland were going to hook up. They've been hooking up all season long. And Bland made a very nice play after a misplay by Aliquippa defensive back. And Fritz showed a lot of courage stepping back and completing that long pass after he really got whacked by Jonathan Ladon.
And that very easily could have put him out of the game too, because he wasn't expecting it. Came from the blind side. He just got rid of the football. It was a very well conceived play down the field. It was for 60 yards, and that might have added to Josh Lay's injury to that hand too, because he made a swipe at Bland and stopping him.
If you just joined us here at Three River Stadium today in the single-A game, congratulations go out to the Rochester Rams. They win the Battle of the Rochester-Monaca rivalry, 13-6 to win the single-A championship. You're watching the double-A championship. Mike Smianik and the Aliquippa Quips taking on the Waynesburg Raiders. There's the score of the first game. Congratulations to the Rams, and here we are at halftime, getting ready to start the second half of Aliquippa and Waynesburg. Aliquippa scored on its first possession, marched down the field, got a long completion from Lay to Quinier Gaskins. Then inside the 20-yard line, Aliquippa just pounded it in, and Lay scored from a yard out. They went for two. The run failed. They made it 6-6. Waynesburg then in the second quarter came back, was able to establish a bit of a running game. Got a nice long completion from Fritz to Craig Bland. That set up a second field goal after Lanford Simpson had kicked a 20-yard field goal with 6:46 to go, and then Simpson kicked a 27-yarder with 1:49 to go. And that's where we're at, 6-6. And there's Josh Lay. And speaking of Josh Lay, let's go down to Billy Osborne. He's got an injury update. Billy.
I'm down here on the sideline. Just talked with the doctor for Aliquippa, Dr. Pat Sturm, and he basically said that you guys caught on that long pass play when he swiped at the receiver's hand or his foot, he hurt his wrist. And they're not sure if it's fractured or not. They're going to take x-rays after the game, but it's badly bruised. He will not take any snaps at quarterback. He'll strictly play on defense. That's the update from right now anyway. Back to you guys.
That is a major blow for the Aliquippa Quips. Now they're going to have to go with Quinier Gaskins, a senior who's normally a split end. And what do you do in this situation? This has got to be a coach's worst nightmare when you have an inexperienced backup coming in for a guy that is not just a terrific player, but is a team leader for you.
Yeah, you take almost 2,500 yards of offense, and you take almost 60% of your touchdowns scored all year, and you're going to play them just on defense. That has to be a tremendous negative aspect of the game right now. We're going to see how it plays out.
Short kickoff, and it's fielded inside the 30-yard line by Waynesburg, and That's Brian Golden running it up to around the 40-yard line, tackled by Aaron Betts.
Well, Waynesburg is going to start this series off with excellent field position. I mean, they have the ball on the 40-yard line, and I'm sure they're going to go back. They have to be tremendously excited knowing that all they have to do is do exactly what they did in that second quarter, and they're going to give themselves a tremendous impetus to win this football game.
Here's Josh Lay. He's going to play defensively, but as Billy Osborne told us, they do not plan on having him take any snaps at quarterback. So the Waynesburg Raiders with the ball on their own 42-yard line to start the second half. Fritz hands it off inside to Lanford Simpson. They're trying to establish an inside game, but so far, Sam, most of the things they have been able to do as far as positive yardage have been to the outside on the option.
Yes, it have. And then once they set up the option, it opened up the Simpson play from tackle to tackle. So it went in opposite or reverse kind of mentality is you run the belly play, run the fake, give the ball to the fullback, and then run the option. They're doing exactly opposite of that.
Well, with Josh Lay considered to be out offensively, this game could wear down to a game of attrition with teams trying to pound the ball inside, and then it might just be a game where whoever commits the fewest amount of turnovers win it. It probably won't be an offensive shootout if that's the case. Fritz takes it on the outside, cuts back inside, and he's wrapped up short of the 45-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and about 7. Monroe Weekly with the tackle for the Quips.
And if you'll notice the style of how they get the ball into Lee Fritz's hands, it's not an option kind of a play. It's more of a keeper kind of a thing. And that time they faked the split buck action in the backfield and just rolled them out around the left side, and Aliquippa had none of that.
So it's not a pure option where he might be pitching the ball out. It's basically going to him and he has to find the hole.
That's exactly right.
3rd and long. Fritz back. Throws it over the middle, and that's complete to number 33, Cody Black.
And that was a very well executed play. He came out of the backfield, turned right around inside the seam, set his feet, and threw it right to him. Good enough to move the sticks.
Waynesburg inside the 45-yard line of Aliquippa. And Fritz, who throws the ball very well on the run, spots Cody Black, who got as far as the first down marker, turned around and caught the ball, knew exactly how far to go for the first down, and he got it. Fritz handing the ball inside to Lanford Simpson, and again, nowhere to go. Drew Ellerby, and a host of other Quips right there at the point of attack, and it'll be 2nd and long.
Well, anytime you have a team that has gone to where they're going right now, you have 2 12-0 teams. You have the defending champion coming back. You always start with the base. You've got to be strong up the middle. The nose guard, 2 linebackers, and 2 tackles for Aliquippa are just outstanding.
Well, as we expected, it's a close game, and these two teams have been so dominant in their respective leagues, they haven't had very many close games. It'll be interesting to see which team reacts better to being in a close ball game or a game that's this important. Fritz back to pass, and he completes that one to Craig Bland right at the first down marker. It all depends on the spot, and I think they're going to give him a good spot as far as Waynesburg is concerned. That should be enough for the first down.
That was Bernard Lay that made that tackle. His hand is bandaged up. I'm sure it's painful for him, but he's still in there being very aggressive, and he was right on the play.
Yeah, you can kind of tell he was favoring that left hand when he was trying to make that tackle and trying to break up that pass.
This is a really good start for the second half for Waynesburg.
That's Haught in motion. Fritz goes to the outside. Gets away from 2 tacklers, but still tough going. Before that play, Waynesburg had 5 rushing attempts on this drive and picked up 0 yards, and it looks like Fritz may have picked up 4 or 5 there.
Well, what happens is, even though you're only picking up 2 or 3 yards as far as actually moving the sticks are concerned, they have to show that so that they set up all of their passing attack is based on the fact that they're trying to run the ball. So if they don't run the ball, they're not going to be able to pass the ball.
2nd and 5. Fritz has Simpson and Danny Haught in the backfield. Ball goes inside to Simpson, who bowls his way forward inside the 25-yard line, tackled by Monroe Weekly.
And this is 4-down territory for them, so obviously everybody in the stadium knows and everybody out there knows that Bernard Lay or Josh Lay is not playing So the whole complex of this game, the strategy of the game is going to change as far as Coach Sarah is concerned.
You're right about 4-down territory, because if this were 4th down rather than 3rd, you're talking about a 42-yard field goal, which is way out of Simpson's range. So 3rd down and 3, we'll call it.
And we're going to look for Lee Fritz to do something here. Absolutely not.
Instead, he goes right up the middle to land for Simpson, who's very close. Again, it'll depend on the spot. We'll see what kind of spot they get.
I don't believe that he made the first down, but he's very, very close.
He had to get almost to the 22-yard line. And they've...
Tell you what, from this angle, it looks like the spot is very favorable.
And although they flipped the down marker over to 4th down, I think they're going to have to measure this one, Sam. And yeah, sure enough, here they come. Stretching the chain out, and that's enough for the first down. So it's first down from the 22-yard line, we'll call it, of the Aliquippa Quips. Waynesburg looking to take the lead here on their opening drive of the 3rd quarter. Aliquippa scored the first 6 points of this game. Since then, Waynesburg's added a couple of field goals. They're now threatening to take the lead as we hit the 7-minute mark of the 3rd period. Fritz keeps it himself, goes around, cuts back inside. That's number 73 for Aliquippa, Drew Ellerby on the tackle.
And he's just faking that little belly, getting them conscious of the fullback, the strong back, or the wing back that's on that side. If you'll notice, he's just leading into the hole, and Lee Fritz is just following him right in through the hole.
They're not taking big chunks, but in the last few plays, they've been able to get a first down. On first down, they've been able to get about 4 yards, and they've been able to squeeze out a few first downs on this drive.
All you need is 3.1 yards per carry, and you're moving the sticks.
2nd and 6. We'll call it the 19-yard line. Fritz talking to his running backs. That's Hart and Simpson. I think that may be a delay of game. Yep. And that'll be 5 yards. There was some confusion there. Fritz had to turn over and talk to his running backs.
We got a dead ball foul. Delay game.
And that's exactly what Coach Sarah did not want at this time.
2nd down.
They were moving the ball down. They did not commit any mistakes. And now they have a big mistake here. Unfortunately for Waynesburg, they have the ability and the schemes that they can go ahead and this isn't a tremendous disadvantage to them, as where Monaca and Rochester, they could not get themselves out of this kind of trouble.
Yeah, Monaca and Rochester also had to deal with the fact that it had a steady drizzle, which made throwing the ball very, very difficult. There we've got 2nd and 11, 6:19 to play, and here goes Fritz. And Ladon is right there. He's not going to let him go. He gets some help, and he's tackled down around the 30-yard line. And now it's going to be 3rd and long. A big play there for the Aliquippa defense, Sam.
It surely was. Those kids reacted. They read their responsibility, stay where they were, and then as soon as they saw Fritz coming around the corner, they just gang tackled him.
We were talking about Ladon. He's one of 4 Ladon brothers on this team. There's Brandon, there's Nathan, and there are twins, John and Justin. Interesting story, Sam. Their mom, Edwina, said, quote, "When I was pregnant, they didn't know I was having twins. They could only hear one heartbeat, but I kept asking about twins because I was feeling a lot of activity. It had to be twin boys or an electric eel inside me."
That's really funny.
Well, Fritz takes the snap. It looked like he might quick kick it, but now he's going to go from the shotgun and throw the ball, and it's complete to Bland at the 10-yard line. That'll be enough for the first down.
It absolutely will be enough for the first down if they give him that spot.
That was a really deep shotgun formation. At first, I thought maybe he might quick kick it, but of course he wouldn't be quick kicking it that deep inside the opposition's territory. Instead, he throws it, was patient, and found Bland. And we talked about what a good receiver Craig Bland is. He's got great hands.
He does have great hands. He sat right down in the seam, and Lee delivered it right on target. They were closing in on him, and he just kept his eye on it and sat right down with the ball.
So we'll call it the 11-yard line, not the 10. They can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. Fritz again from the shotgun, takes it on the quarterback draw up around the 6-yard line.
Picked up about 4 or 5 yards on that play.
But there's a flag on the play.
Is that a face mask?
We're waiting for the call. Illegal motion against Waynesburg.
Wait, Jeff, you want to take it back?
Yeah, I think they are going to take it back,
They're going
Ref.
to take them back. I guess they are.
We got a live ball foul on the offense. Motion, illegal motion. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, this is uncharacteristic of Waynesburg. They're shooting themselves in the foot right now, and this is not typical of the kind of football that they've normally been playing.
And the way they've been chewing up the clock, and when you consider that Josh Lay probably will not be starting to quarterback a touchdown, really looms as a much larger lead than it normally would be in a game like this.
Absolutely, Rob. I totally agree with you.
That's Cody Black in motion. Around goes Fritz. He cuts it inside. He's down to about the 11-yard line where they started this first down. So he picked up that yardage that they lost on the illegal motion play.
You're exactly right. They're right back here now with 2nd and 10.
I've got a question for you, Sam. Fritz running the option. He's handling the ball in every play. He's playing defensive back. A lot of these guys on both teams playing both ways. Weekly's doing it. Don's playing it, doing that. How much did that take out of you late in the game if you're going both ways, playing a full 48 minutes of high school football?
At this time of the year, I don't think it takes anything out of them. They're so used to doing it. In the beginning of the season when it's hot and it's humid and stuff like that, that's when they feel more of the effect. Right now, I don't think it bothers them at all.
Fritz throws it up, and that one's going to be picked off. Oh, no, it's incomplete. Lay had it in his hands and dropped it, but you really can't blame the guy. The poor kid's playing with the injured wrist.
I think they're giving it to him,
They are
Rob.
giving it to him.
I think they're giving it to him. Aliquippa's coming off the field, and Josh Lay has the interception.
Fritz throwing that one off his back foot, and here comes Josh Lay. Injured wrist and all, he makes the catch. He clearly had it and had a couple of feet down. Craig Bland stripped it. Nice play by Bland, but the official correctly said that Lay caught it. What a terrific play. The guy's got possibly a broken wrist, and he's able to make the catch. And Quinier Gaskins under center for Aliquippa, as Aliquippa's defense is able to hold back Waynesburg.
Well, if that's going to be typical of what we're going to see when Aliquippa has the ball, Aliquippa might be in for a long fourth quarter here.
Brand Blair got hammered. Quinier Gaskins. So to recap the Waynesburg drive, they went 13 plays, 47 yards. That's really grinding it out. That's barely more than 3 yards a carry. Ate up 8 minutes and 12 seconds of clock and came away with nothing.
And that could loom very large in the remaining part of this quarter and the entire fourth quarter.
2nd and 12, Gaskins under center. His deep back is Wilcox. He hands it off to his up back, though. That's number 42, Carl McBride, who gets a couple.
I guess the question that we have to ask right now is, has Aliquippa ever been in a position where they had to rely with not having Josh Lay playing quarterback in the critical kind of a situation that this is?
And I think this next play will explain a lot to us and at least give us an idea of what to expect for the rest of this game, because it's clearly a passing situation. 3rd down and 7. Will they let Gaskins throw the ball? Do they have confidence in him, or will they try to keep the ball on the ground and give it to Wilcox, who's a terrific running back? And they tried to hand it to Wilcox, but Waynesburg's defense was right there at the moment he got the ball handed off to him.
So the philosophy now is just an indication of what's happening here. I'd have to think that they do not have confidence in him throwing the ball.
But in all fairness to Gaskins, though, even if you have Josh Lay at quarterback, number 52 for Waynesburg, Grant Blair is right there at the moment he is able to even turn around at his running back. Doesn't matter who you have a quarterback.
There was not any opportunity for them. The penetration was just back in the backfield immediately.
McBride is back to punt, and that ball was nearly blocked.
And there's a penalty on the play. They roughed the punter.
Number 36, Danny Hart, ran into McBride, and looks like that'll be roughing the kicker. The officials talking to each other. That'll be, yes, personal foul against Waynesburg. What a big break for Aliquippa, Sam.
It sure is a big break. And, I always had the philosophy, when you're that deep in the territory, that you go ahead and take the field position rather than to try to block a punt or something like that. There is no hurry to go ahead and do that.
Roughing the kicker, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Yeah, you're right about that. The upside/downside potential is much greater on the downside, and sure enough, Danny Haught almost blocked that kick, but he wasn't able to, and that gives Aliquippa a much-needed first down. Let's go down to Billy Osborne. Billy.
Coach Sarah and his coaching staff are yelling at the officials that that punt was tipped. If in fact it was tipped, then that would nullify the 15-yard penalty, but the officials say no. They get tagged with a 15-yard personal foul.
Thanks, Billy. Well, regardless of whether or not it was tipped or not, Aliquippa gets the ball. They hand it off to Jarris Wilcox, who breaks free to the outside for about 7 or 8 yards, out to about the 42, 43-yard line. This is the man they're going to have to rely on now, Sam. Now that Josh Lay is out, they're going to have to go with Jarris Wilcox. He's got some great numbers. Ran for more than 1,700 yards, scored 27 touchdowns this season. He's the guy they're going to have to get the ball to because clearly they don't have a whole lot of confidence in Gaskin's throwing ability.
Well, I'll tell you what, if that's not a negative to me, Rob. I'd want to put the ball in that kid's hands. I mean, he has 27 touchdowns. He didn't do it because he's not a good back. You just give him enough opportunities and he's going to break a big one.
Interesting on that last formation, they handed the ball off to Wilcox, and they had Big Monroe Weekly as an up back in that last formation as a lead blocker, which actually makes pretty good sense. If you're going to run the ball as much, you might as well go to a semi-I formation with Wilcox as your deep man and having a big lineman. And sure enough, there's number 63 lining up right on the 40-yard line in a 3-back set.
So we know what kind of mentality Aliquippa is going to take into this fourth quarter.
And Weekly that time pushed Gaskins, who tried on the quarterback sneak to get the first down on 3rd and short, and the big fella Surge may have pushed Gaskins beyond the 45-yard line. Yes, he did, and that's a first down. So, interesting, Mike Smianik making some changes offensively and making the best out of a bad situation, putting his big linebacker / normally offensive guard into his own backfield, kind of like Refrigerator Perry, although I don't think we're going to see number 63 running with the ball.
Well, don't take any. I mean, that kid's a great athlete. If I'm not mistaken, he plays basketball. He has really good feet. Don't be surprised if he doesn't carry the ball once in a while.
Well, that's the end of the third quarter. We're still at 6-6. We'll be right back after this.
We love to see you smile.
At McDonald's, we know what makes you smile. It's great tasting burgers, chicken sandwiches, and don't forget, America's favorite fries.
Great news, cheeseburger lovers. Right now, McDonald's cheeseburgers are only 48 cents each every Sunday and Wednesday. And I'll serve them up hot, fresh, right to order.
We love to see you smile.
Cheeseburgers 48 cents every Sunday and Wednesday.
Verizon Wireless introduces Mobile Web, the wireless internet access you personalize on your computer, then use right over your phone. With a simple scroll and click, you can get just the information you want, the moment you want it. Mobile Web, only from Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Sign up now and get the first 3 months access free with annual contract.
I'm from Whitehall and I did better at Don Allen.
The hot new Mazda Tribute is here. Half SUV, half sports sedan. Don Allen can get you one for as little as $17,520.
I did do better.
I did do better. You will do better at the big Don Allen Auto Complex. So, you want to join the Don Allen Used Car Super Center?
Yes, sir!
At the Don Allen Used Super Center, we check them better with a 100-point quality check. We back them better with a money-back guarantee. And we price them better. The big Don Allen Used Car Super Center.
Check it out!
A quality education that's close to home. Over 40 majors in bachelor's and master's degrees for traditional and adult students. A caring faculty teaching in a Christian perspective. If that's what you're looking for, then you're looking for Geneva College. For over 150 years, Geneva has been providing higher learning with a higher purpose. To find out more about what a Geneva education can mean for you, call 724-846-5100 or visit their website at www.geneva.edu. Geneva College, bringing faith to life.
Hey Keith, as a respected sports journalist, what advice can you give on helping me score with the ladies?
Keep hanging out at ballparks and racetracks and you'll be fine.
The Keith Olbermann Evening News, Sundays at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
Want heart-pounding highlights? Then you gotta see this. It's death-defying, car-crashing, fist-flying action. Video that'll blow you away. Think you've seen it all? You gotta see this. Sunday at 6 on Fox Sports Net.
The WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by McDonald's. We love to see you smile. And by Verizon Wireless. Join in. Rob Nicoleski along with Sam LaFazzo. After a scoreless third period, we're still tied at 6-6 in the AA Championship. Aliquippa with the football, 1st and 10 from its own 45-yard line. And there's a fumble, and it's loose, and it's picked up by number 32, Derek Mears. That's a big play, Sam. Just as Aliquippa had gotten a couple of first downs using this new offensive scheme with Weekly in the backfield. A fumble as Gaskins gets hit. Here's another look at it. Gaskins nailed by Lanford Simpson. He put his hand right on the football, Sam. And there was number 32, Derek Mears, for the recovery.
Well, right at the end of the third quarter, when they were all walking off the field, you could see Waynesburg's kids coming off with their hands above their heads, signaling fourth quarter. So this is what they've tended to be looking for.
And Waynesburg goes right to the pass, and Lee Fritz hits Craig Bland again, down to around the 22-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Raiders.
And then the other thing that happens on defense, as Gary was talking about, he and I were just talking, you know, because Lay is not in there anymore, they don't have to worry about the passing and the movement of Josh Legg. Great pass by Lee Fritz.
21-yard pickup for Fritz to Bland, and the Raiders are now on the 22-yard line looking for a touchdown, and any kind of lead is a big lead considering the way this game has been played, especially considering that Lay's out with an injury and the defenses have been playing very well. Ball goes inside to Lanford Simpson. He gets just beyond the 20-yard line before he's wrapped up. That is Weekly with the tackle.
And the other thing that noticed that we were talking to Coach Pianic, he said he plays the 50. He's trying to funnel everything into the middle. All of a sudden, they've changed defense. They're playing a 6-1, and they have the corners on the outside. So the defensive philosophy has changed for Aliquippa right now.
Lay is playing defense, and he made an interception in the third quarter, but proved to be a very big play, holding Waynesburg out of the end zone.
They're shadowing Bland with Lay. Every place he goes, Lay's coming with him.
Back to pass again. He's looking for Bland. And that's Lay again, who makes another interception in the end zone. And Aliquippa has held Waynesburg again.
Well, that might be the reason why everybody's playing him at defensive back. Even with the broken wrist, he's come up with 2 interceptions.
Terrific play by Josh Lay. And you called it, Sam. You said that Lay was guarding Bland, the top receiver, being guarded by the top defensive back. And Fritz gets picked off in the end zone. And we're going to take a break as Aliquippa Fighting Quips get a big break. We're in the fourth quarter. We're tied at 6 in the AA Championship. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, my name is Joe Androstic, sales manager at Sendell Motors, Route 30 East in Greensburg. Volkswagen is one of the most popular cars on the road today. They're exciting, they're affordable, and they're just plain fun to drive. And as always here at Sendell Motors, you receive your best bottom line price and exceptional customer service before, during, and after the sale. So stop by for your test drive today. And remember, if you buy Volkswagen someplace else, you'll pay more money. And on the road of life, there are passengers and drivers. Drivers wanted.
Our competition has this knack of advertising a very low price in the newspaper, and they draw you in. And when they get you into the location, they say, by the way, valve, balance, scrap tire, and road hazard is going to be another $17 to $20 per tire, and that $40 tire before your eyes turns into a $60 tire, where in fact, for the same quality tire, you could have received and saved $5 or $6 or $7 at the Flynn's EW Tire locations in Pittsburgh.
Josh DeLay on the sidelines after a big interception holds Waynesburg, and while we were away, he was on the sidelines trying to practice some snaps. He seemed to be shaking his head at times, saying, I don't know if I can take a snap because my wrist is hurting too much, but he's done a terrific job defensively. 2 interceptions in the second half. Gaskins still quarterbacking the quick. The pitch over to Wilcox, who gets forward a couple of yards after he bounced into his own quarterback. Craig Bland on the tackle.
Yeah, something seems like it's not in sync with the Aliquippa offense. I know the quarterback's changed, but I know that this young man has had repetitions playing quarterback, obviously. But it just seems like there were penalties down here with the snap count, and now they're bumping into each other. Something seems amiss in the Aliquippa offense.
Well, high school football is a very emotional game. You know that, Sam. And maybe that turnover, the second turnover that they were able to get against Waynesburg, may be able to get the Quips to settle down a bit. Behind their backup quarterback, Gaskins this time goes around the end, and he's got himself a first down. Nice fake there. He went inside to Wilcox, and it's really the first time Gaskins has been able to get loose.
Well, if he continues to do that, he's no longer being just a caddy and bringing the ball back from the center to the running back. They're going to let him take the same kind of a posture that Lay had, and I'm sure that was a play that Lay has run many times, and it worked for him. He has this quickness and speed to carry it off.
Billy Osborne, what do you have for us?
I'm down here on the Waynesburg sideline with the cheerleaders, and I heard there was something that one of them wanted to say to me.
Billy Osborne, we're such a big fan of yours. We just wanted to give you a kiss.
Uh-oh, this type of kiss. All right, well, I guess I have to take it anyway. You all know from WPIAL that this signifies the championship game in Hershey, PA. This is tradition, what it's all about. They haven't thrown at us. We thought they were flirting with us. Actually, they think we're hungry. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy.
Back up top.
A Hershey kiss for the PIAA championships that will be played at Hershey Park. And in the meantime, Wilcox got through and got free inside the 50-yard line. So Aliquippa now moving the ball. 9:43 to play in regulation.
Well, I misspoke. I just said 2 plays ago that they seemed like they were amiss, and in 2 plays, they've moved the ball about 27 yards, and I think it's a little bit too early to be passing out Hershey kisses if I was Waynesburg.
Gaskins, 3 running backs behind him. He looked to go to LaDon, but Waynesburg smoked that one out, and Gaskins gets caught for about a 2 or 3 yard loss. Derek Mears on the tackle.
I think what Aliquippa is going to have to do is to break the offense down to 3 or 4 plays that he can run and become successful, rather than trying to put him in a position where he's expected to run the entire offense. He's just not equipped. He must obviously not had enough repetitions back there. So I'd just stick to 2 or 3 plays, and the one play that I'd stick to the most is giving the ball to Jarris Wilcox.
Well, he's played, Gaskins has, this entire second half and the last series of the first half, and has not thrown a pass. Weekly's back in the backfield as the up back, and there's a flag on the field. It might be delay of game again.
Well, if you can look at what's happening in Waynesburg now, they have 9-10 people in the box. I mean, they're up there. They're going to pressure the gaps. They're not going to have to worry about the passing attack, as Jerry said before, and they're just coming after the ball now.
Well, you can see Mike Smianik on the sidelines looking very frustrated. In many ways, Sam, this has been a game of frustration for Aliquippa because you don't have your star quarterback, and for Waynesburg because you threatened twice in the second half and come away with nothing.
And they were down there in the first half with 2 times and didn't come away with anything.
There's the inside handoff to Wilcox, and Waynesburg once again with the tackle. Cody Black is there, the first Raider to get there.
Well, in all my years in teaching and all my years in coaching, what I found is if you make a mistake, you could go along, and just be very smoothly. And as soon as you make that first mistake, guess what follows? The second mistake, the third mistake, and then you really find yourself floundering.
Well, we have not seen Gaskins throw a pass yet. We might see it here because it's 3rd and 18. A single setback. They're definitely in a passing formation. The dawn at the bottom of your screen. Gaskins goes back. He's running out of room, and he's tackled. But once again, you can't put that on Gaskins. That's some great defensive work there. Derek Mears was there. Great pursuit there from the Waynesburg Raiders.
Yeah, and I think what happens is they know that the passing threat is not there, And Aliquippa went back to the only play that he has run that was successful was the fake of the belly and turn up outside, and hopefully he could spring one.
So Carl McBride back to punt. He's been busier than he normally has been. Aliquippa's offense has been sputtering, and that's to be expected because you've got Josh Lay out. And McBride's punt, taken up around the 30-yard line, and there was a mistake, and that's a loose ball.
Very bad decision on.
And let's see who's got it. Fritz was fighting for it.
Wow.
I think they may have gotten it back. Boy, what a break there.
Slip their neck out of that noose.
McLaughlin went up and tried to run the ball after it bounced, and immediately Good was there to smack it out of the way, and actually
Aliquippa had the ball.
Dwight Hines had the ball. And they've given it to Aliquippa. They have. So Aliquippa's got the ball on the 27-yard line. A terrible mistake there by McLaughlin. And Aliquippa once again takes advantage of a Waynesburg mistake. That's 3 mistakes for Waynesburg in the second half in a 6-6 game with a little more than 7 minutes to play. Gaskin's going to throw his first pass, and it's complete for a touchdown.
Beautiful play. Beautiful play.
Quentin Good.
Wow.
And bang, bang, just like that, a turnover on the punt, and Gaskins throws his first pass and completes it for a touchdown.
Well, we're going to get another chance at opportunity to see that. Fake it to Wilcox.
27 yards, and whether it was by design or not,
oh, that absolutely was.
Mike Smianik made a brilliant play. They had not thrown a pass at all, and then coming on the heels of the turnover, they get the touchdown. They're going for 2. Gaskins under center. Wilcox, the only setback. They go inside to Good. He tries to cut back, and he's in. That makes it 14-6 Quips. With 6:59 to play in the game, Aliquippa has taken the lead in this one.
And you can see the sidelines from Waynesburg. Their heads are down. They're walking off the field. That was a backbreaker right there, Rob.
A touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Aliquippa suddenly has the lead. We'll be back after these messages.
Your business can look better and run much more smoothly than it does right now. How? Because there's a better way to buy office furniture. We've opened a state-of-the-art showroom called Workplace Furnishings by Mount Lebanon Office Equipment, featuring the absolute best values in office furniture from Hahn and other fine brands at our famous low discount prices. Come in, look around, and get some ideas. Our interior design professionals will be glad to do a 3D drawing of your office space. It's new, it's exciting, it's Workplace Furnishings by Mount Lebanon Office Equipment, Banksville Road.
I started selling cars when I was 21 years old, and I learned at an early age that every customer is a valued customer. That's how I run my business. At John Howard's, we never forget what it's like to buy a car. For most people, it's a big decision. We don't hesitate to go the extra mile for the customer. We're not happy unless you are. Are John Howard's customers satisfied? Just ask them. We're easy to find.
John Howard's, with 3 convenient locations to serve you.
Welcome back to Three River Stadium. Rob Nicoleski along with Sam LaFazzo, and Aliquippa has struck after Waynesburg turned the ball over on a punt return on the first play from scrimmage. Quinier Gaskins threw his first pass of the second half, and he made it count, hitting Quentin Good for the touchdown from 27 yards out. The Quips went for 2. The run is successful as Good sneaked into the end zone to make it 14-6. So now Waynesburg, Sam, needs a touchdown and converts a 2-point conversion.
Absolutely. The decision to try to field that ball after it hit the ground was absolutely the wrong type of decision to make. They looked like they were offsides on that play.
Well, Weekly kicks it off, and this is Bland out near the 40-yard line. So the Raiders will have great field position. We talked about it for both teams. They've dominated their respective leagues. They've run through the playoffs without too much trouble, but neither one of these teams has really been in a position where they've been in a close game or behind late in the game. And here's an injury. Number 56 for Aliquippa, that's Chris Winterborn, a junior, who's down. And it'll be interesting to see how Waynesburg reacts. They have been behind just a couple of times in this season. They were behind by 2 touchdowns against Seton LaSalle, but came back to win in a big way, 50-35. The only other close game they had was a 28-21 win over Brownsville. This will be a real gut check for these guys to see how well they can react with 6:53 to go and needing a touchdown and a 2-point conversion just to put the game into overtime.
Yeah, but I think what happens is that when you have a winning tradition and you've been in this situation, even though they haven't been losing, they have a tremendous amount of confidence in themselves. And I really like the idea that Fritz has the ability, not only can he run the football, he can throw the football, he has the running attack. So this isn't a situation where he's going to be forced to do something that he's never done totally before, like Matt Hartley was for Monaca and Adam Moore was for Rochester.
And it certainly helps Waynesburg's cause that all these guys are seniors, so they've got some maturity. But clearly they have to come through with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to send this game possibly into overtime. Winterbourne's finally back up on his feet. It's being helped off the field. And Waynesburg will take over on its own 39-yard line. 61 yards needed to go to try to tie this ball game up as Winterbourne gingerly goes off the field with some help.
And they came back out in the third quarter and took the ball down and used up almost 7 or 8 minutes off the clock. So it's not inconceivable that they could do it again. The only thing that's happening now is the times that they've been inside the 10 and have not scored the touchdown are the ones that are going to come back and really haunt them at this point.
You're absolutely right. They had a drive in the third period. They chewed up 8 minutes and 12 seconds of the clock. They came away with nothing after Josh Slay had the first of 2 interceptions in the end zone. Fritz carries it himself out past the 40. Scoots by a man. There's another example, Sam, why this guy is such a good quarterback and why so many people consider him the best, if not one of the best quarterbacks in all of Western Pennsylvania, regardless of division.
You're absolutely right. And the best thing that happened, not only did he make a first down, but he got out of bounds.
And there's Lee Fritz. He's grimacing. He's down. The starting quarterback for Aliquippa, Josh Lay, has been kept out offensively because of an injured wrist. And here's Lee Fritz down. Let's see if we can figure out exactly what happened here. LaDon tackles him. And that's also number 42, Carl McBride with a nice tackle, and Fritz is down.
Looks like he got the wind knocked out of him. He got hit, the second person on him that time, put his helmet right in his midsection.
Might be his clavicle, or Dave Serra is down there kneeling down, seeing what his quarterback situation is as far as injuries.
And this happens at a totally inappropriate time for Waynesburg because at least I keep saying Rochester, at least Aliquippa has had the opportunity to go in at halftime, talk to the quarterback, settle him down, tell him what his responsibilities are. Whoever comes in for Lee is going to be totally under the gun. He knows that this is an important series, and it's going to be a very critical time for him to work out all the kinks that he's going to have to go.
Well, a lot of the Waynesburg players kneeling down. This is Corey Walsh taking some snaps on the sidelines. A lot of the Waynesburg players on the sidelines kneeling down, being very quiet because they know just how important Lee Fritz is to this team. And Corey Walsh, a sophomore, may have to come in there and play some quarterback, if not for just a couple of plays and maybe for the rest of the game as Fritz leaves. It looks like it might be that collarbone.
Collarbone, shoulder.
And Sam, that's one of the things I think that might be a disadvantage to playing on artificial turf. You see a lot more collarbone injuries and shoulder injuries because when a player is driven into the turf, there's just not much give.
Not much give at all. You're absolutely right.
He really looks hurt, and it looks like Corey Walsh, well, we weren't sure what to expect in this game, Sam, and that certainly has lived up to the billing all the way through this game. 6:42 to go, and both starting quarterbacks, two of the top quarterbacks in all of Western Pennsylvania, are now out, at least offensively, as Fritz limps off the field. It looks like he might be done because there's only 6:42 left of regulation. Now Walsh is in. Quanier Gaskins looked like he had an awful lot of trouble in the first couple of series, but on the last series, completed his first pass for a touchdown. We'll see what the sophomore, Corey Walsh, can do. Second and short. The handoff to Lanford Simpson, and He plows forward up around the 41-yard line. He might have had some trouble there on the exchange, as you so often see when you get a brand new quarterback in there, but Simpson got the ball, bulldozed his way to the 41-yard line. That's a first down for Waynesburg.
Well, once again, it's going to be determined by whether or not the young man has had repetitions during the course of the week. As a former head coach for almost 22 years, I gave my second-string quarterback as many repetitions as my first-string quarterback, because anytime that situation happens, you want him to have the ability to go in there and be successful.
And sure enough, there was some trouble with the exchange, but Simpson did a nice job to hang on to the ball and move the sticks forward. First down for the Raiders. Walsh hands it off to Simpson again inside the 40-yard line. And just as when Josh Lay was out, you had to wonder what that took away from Aliquippa. Now you have to wonder what Lee Fritz, now that he's out, what that takes away from Waynesburg, because it makes you wonder, are they going to run that quarterback option, which they ran so successfully when you had Lee Fritz in there. Now you've got a sophomore.
Well, I think what the difference between it is that when Aliquippa changed quarterbacks, they were taking somebody that was changing a position. He's playing end or he's playing halfback or whatever. This kid is a quarterback, so he's going to have the mentality of a quarterback, and I don't think they're going to change their offense.
Yeah, you just saw Lee Fritz on the sidelines. He's in a lot of pain. I would not think we're going to see him back at all. The ball goes inside to Lanford Simpson again. Now the bulk of the Waynesburg offense falls on the big shoulders of number 31, Lanford Simpson, as he's handled the ball 3 consecutive times.
And I think you're going to see a steady diet of that. You know, we only have 4:51 left. This is definitely 4-down territory. We're going to see whether or not this young man is going to be the quarterback that's going to take over for Lee Fritz, or going to be a caddy and hand off to Lanford Simpson.
Well, we thought this was going to be a game where we saw lots of explosive plays on offense, and we've seen a couple of small explosions, but right now it looks like, Sam, this might come down to trench warfare with both starting quarterbacks out.
You're exactly right.
3rd and 7, big play for the sophomore quarterback. And he fumbles the snap, falls back on it, but it's going to be now 4th down, and with 4:13 and counting, Sam, what do? Do you punt and try to use your timeouts? They have a full allotment of 3, or is this 4-down territory?
Well, if you're asking me as a coach, and if I was in that situation, I'm punting the ball away. There's still 3:57 left to go in the game. You still have a quarterback that has not had all the repetitions on Aliquippa's side, so I'm going to get the ball down there as deep as I possibly can and hope that there's going to be a turnover, that they're going to make a mistake. We're going to get the ball back down here, and we'll have to go 20 yards for a touchdown rather than 40.
Well, they will punt, and Danny Hart's back at the 50-yard line. He's going to try to angle this. That's a nice kick. It's picked up by Wilcox inside the 10-yard line. He falls forward about the 17-yard line. That's where Aliquippa will take over. Billy Osborne's down the sideline. Billy.
That's Rob. Down here on the Waynesburg sideline, Lee Fritz, as you guys said, you called it right. When he landed on that turf, there is no give, and he had 2 guys land on him. It appears that he broke his right clavicle. They can't confirm that right now, but that's what the trainer said. It looks like he either injured or broke his right clavicle. He will not be returning.
A real blow for Dave Serra and the Waynesburg Raiders.
Well, the thing that's happening here is when Lay got hurt, he still played defense. Fritz gets hurt. They're putting a young kid back here at safety, so that could be a critical situation there also.
You're right. He's playing free safety right now. And Waynesburg has to hold Aliquippa. Gaskins on the run, running the wrong way and gets sacked back at his 11-yard line.
So they lost about 4 yards in that situation. So
Craig Bland on the tackle. Now, if you're Aliquippa at this point, are you playing the time game? Are you going to just try to take as much time off the clock and hope that your defense can stop Waynesburg with a sophomore quarterback?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the ball to Wilcox, and I'm not even going to be the least fancy about it. I'm going to line him up there and give him the ball and let him be an athlete. And if it comes down to punting the ball away, we're going to punt the ball away and put it in the defensive end.
Number 21 for Waynesburg, Kellen Kayla, who's also a quarterback, is taking some snaps on the Waynesburg sideline. But as for the game right now, 2nd and 15 from the 10. And there's your man Wilcox. They went right up the middle, just as you said. And there's Kayla taking some snaps. Maybe he'll come in when and if Waynesburg gets the ball back. 2:20 and counting, 2:21 when Waynesburg takes a timeout.
Well, I think what's happening is Coach Sarah is making a decision here. The first time he got the ball back, he put in the sophomore. Now he's going to put in somebody that's a senior. He has more experience. His nerves are settled. He's been in this position before, where last year the quarterback that was there, he was probably playing ninth grade ball someplace.
Well, Waynesburg takes a timeout. They have 2 left. And now you put yourself in Mike Smianik's place and you say, do I elect to throw the ball? And if it's incomplete, I'm basically giving Waynesburg a free timeout. If I run the ball, chances are I may not get a first down, but I make Waynesburg burn a timeout.
I want to use as much time on that clock as I possibly can, and I'm going to run the ball, I'm going to kick the ball off, I'm going to put it in my defensive hands. They don't have their quarterback here. They're going to be playing with an inexperienced quarterback. So right at this point, to me, Aliquippa has the advantage, even though they have a 3rd down and 12 situation here. They're going to punt the ball away, and they're just going to let their defense win this game for them.
There's Dave Serra on the sidelines. Lots of coaching involved in these final few minutes, especially since each coach has had its number 1 weapon taken away from him. There's Mike Smianik. So 3rd down and 13. We'll see if Gaskins throws or runs. Instead, they give it to Wilcox. He breaks through, but that's not going to be enough for the first down. We'll see if Waynesburg uses a timeout. Clock stopped. It looks like they are going to take a timeout. That's correct. So we're down to 1 timeout left for Waynesburg with 2:13 left. It'll be 4th down. So once again, Coach, now you would think, especially after what's happened earlier as far as special teams go, that if you're Waynesburg, you play for the return. You're not going to try to block it.
Well, now it's totally different. You know, they don't have a quarterback, and it's not like they're going back in here. Now it has reversed. There's 2 minutes and 12 seconds left to go in the game. If he has a block, this is the time to use it. Not when it was back here when they had the advantage and they had the field position on their side.
That would be a dangerous gamble, though, because they went for a block once and did not get it, and while Aliquippa ended up getting a first down, you go for the block, you don't get it, you rough the kicker, it's an automatic first down, and with just 1 timeout left now for Waynesburg, you would think that would pretty much be the game.
But the point of it here is not what if I don't, it's what if I do. If I do, it's the game.
See, once again, Sam, you're proving you're a glass half full guy. Well, Carl McBride is back to kick.
All they want is a good snap.
Bland is back deep to take the kick. Haught made a good effort to try to block it, but did not, and missed hitting the punter, so Bland takes it around the 44-yard line. So 44 yards separate the Waynesburg Raiders from a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They would have to convert to send this game into overtime.
You're absolutely right. Aliquippa's defense has been extremely successful all year long. Coach Smianik, I mean, if he had his druthers, he'd rather not be in this position, but he doesn't have his druthers, and if I had my way, that's where I'd want to be at this point, on the 45-yard line.
There's Lee Fritz, a sling being attached to his injured collarbone, and Kellen Kayla is now the quarterback. He's a senior, 6 feet tall, and he's got all kinds of pressure on him. He hands the ball off to Lancer Simpson. Billy, what do you have for us?
I'm down here on the sideline, and Monroe Weekly, the leader of that defense on the Aliquippa sideline, it's really interesting. As he came out at halftime, he's yelling to his team, "This will not be my last high school game," even though he's being recruited by all Division I schools, including Clayton, Michigan. He's getting him fired up. On that last series, he snapped the football right before that. He said the same thing. "Let's go. This is not my last high school football game. Let's turn it up here in the last minute and a half."
For one team, it will be a last high school football game for a number of seniors. Another belly play inside. The clock still keeps running.
And I think what has to happen here is that Coach Sarah has to have the same attitude as Coach Smianik did and giving him the opportunity to throw for the touchdown pass. If you'll look at Aliquippa's defense, there are 10 people that are within 4.5 to 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. If they can just get a play action fake to Simpson and then let the quarterback get back there and bring the tight end down the road, they have a perfect score here.
Well, they just used their last timeout. They're now out of timeouts. It's third and about, 2.5, 3 yards. This Waynesburg team, we mentioned earlier, the nucleus of this team has been together since junior high school. They have won 35 of 38 games. They have won 24 consecutive games against WPIAL teams. But unless they can go 37 more yards in the next minute and 18 or less and then convert a two-point conversion, Waynesburg Raiders season for these seniors will be over.
Well, right at this point, I think Aliquippa is in the perfect position that they want to be in under the circumstances. But I would not count out Waynesburg. I mean, obviously, they have a tremendous amount of pride, and the difference is going to be in philosophy. If they're going to try to make up 37 yards in a minute and 17 seconds, grinding them out, that's not going to happen.
Especially now that they're out of timeouts.
Absolutely.
Kellen Kayla under center. He's got two men behind him, and there's a flag that...
And that's not going to work.
I didn't see any movement.
I think the receiver started in motion before the play started.
Well, Kayla is signaling that it's against Aliquippa, which would give Waynesburg a first down.
Is that right?
Would you please make the clock read 1:17? 1:17.
Drama.
Please.
Wow. A gift from Aliquippa delivered to Waynesburg.
And Waynesburg looked like they were going to do a wide receiver reverse, and I don't believe that play is going to work. He's just starting out from too far. Aliquippa has too many skilled kids that have the speed to react to that.
Set 1:17 to play from the 32-yard line. Kayla, he's going to throw. The left-handed pass is almost intercepted.
I don't quite understand this, and I don't want to be critical, but they keep insisting on throwing to the same side that Josh Lay is. I mean, history's going to repeat itself for the third time. I mean, they already did it in the end zone, and then he came back out and intercepted another one. Why do you want to throw to the same person that's intercepted the last two times?
Lay came that close to an interception hat trick.
You're right. I mean, I just don't understand that.
Well, only 5 seconds off the clock, though. Waynesburg on 2nd and 10. Single backfield. The fake, inside reverse.
Too much speed.
Stacked up at the 30-yard line is Derek Mears, and since they're out of timeouts, the clock keeps running inside of a minute. It'll be 3rd and 8. And I don't see a whole lot of sense of urgency on the side of the Waynesburg players. Craig Bland is kind of jogging back to the huddle, and the clock still continues to tick down. 3rd and 8. Now we're inside of 45 seconds to go.
Well, obviously they have not used any kind of a 2-minute drill because it's obvious that they don't have that in their repertoire.
Kayla rolls to his right. He's got LaDon all over him. LaDon with the big play. Jonathan LaDon, one of 4 LaDon brothers on this Aliquippa team with a big sack. And now it'll be 4th down for Waynesburg from its own 40-yard line.
Only 9 seconds left to go in the game. They're not even getting this off.
They better snap it quick or else this game's over. Kayla does snap it in time. This will be the last play of regulation. Kayla throws it up, and that one's picked off. That's number 6, Quanier Gaskins, the man who came in as a backup when Josh Lay hurt his wrist, and the Aliquippa Quips have won the Class AA championship. Mike Smianik's team with a 14-6 win over the Waynesburg Raiders. The Waynesburg Raiders' 24-game winning streak against WPIAL teams is over.
Well, Rob, the only thing that I could say at this point is, even one-handed, Josh Lay is probably the best athlete on this field.
No doubt about that. He had 2 interceptions, nearly had a third in the final minute of this game. as Josh Lay and the Aliquippa Quips win Aliquippa's 10th